This is South Florida's only real sports station. WQAM, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, a Beasley Broadcast Group station. And WQAM.com.
All right. You've heard the secrets behind Saddam Hussein's mistress, but that's just half the story. Find out who Saddam Hussein really is when ABC confronts Saddam Hussein's baby's mama.
Saddam, his sorry ass ain't never taken. And where is my check? He always like ain't never on time.
Saddam Hussein, the most methodical Arab leader in the 20th century. Find out the deep secrets of Saddam Hussein.
I told this fool to come pick me up, and he came and picked me up on this busted ass camel. A camel? Who I look like? And that camel was spitting on my dashiki. I was like,
Find out how he really is in bed.
I don't know how he had 15 wives. 15 wives? He couldn't even hang 15 seconds with me, okay?
Why did you stay with him?
Why did I stay with him? He got dollars, okay? He got Benzes, Beamers, Bentleys, all the B's, okay? He got paper.
Don't miss Saddam's baby's mama.
And am I getting paid for this?
Tonight on ABC.
Oh!
902 at 560 WQM. Happy Monday to you, man. What a beautiful day. Sun is shining. It's 50 degrees. Going to be like 70 today. How about there?
It's actually been fairly nice. It was a nice weekend.
All right. Excellent. So everybody's happy. It's going to start getting cold here this weekend, though. Fall is here in the north. Going to see those leaves turning. Going to freeze our ass off. Anyway, so our poll over the week. Oh, before we get to the poll, you know John Turchin is on America's Most Wanted?
No.
There you go. You did it. Well, I just barely sat down and sat my ass down here, and already you learned something. How do you like that? Huh?
He's wanted?
He's one of America's Most Wanted. He's on that show, which is a great show, of course. John Turchin, who used to be on Channel 7 News.
Right.
And who do you think put him on the air, the first newscast on the radio in South Florida?
Oh, God.
At WS News many years ago. Back when we used to work with Corey Zawato, back in my 8 to midnight days. And at midnight, John Turchin and Corey Zawato and I would go to Lum's. Remember Lum's?
Didn't they name that after Lum, from Lum and Abner?
Right, that's what I'm hearing. That's a popular rumor around town. John Turchin makes the big time. That's very nice going there, John. So anyway, we had 1,407 votes on the poll. The only problem with that is, see, some people would say, well, geez, he's going to be complaining. We had, back in March 10th, we had 1,525. The difference being that back then they were all legitimate, real, and they're not votes. They're just, it's just a survey. Which one of these are you? A religious survey, let's only do it once a year from now on. Anytime we repeat something, the response is always way down. In addition to which, like I told you before the show today, it's the middle of September. Now, as compared to the middle of March, and then you go to September, there's like, what would you say, 30, 40% of the people aren't there yet, the snowbirds?
Right, sure.
They're not there. We're talking to ourselves, basically. We got just like a skeleton crew. Today's a big day, by the way, before we get to the results of the poll, and give you the new poll, which I think is going to get you some, it'll get some results today.
Some real ones?
Maybe some real ones or not. And by the way, you assholes out there that keep dicking with stuff, sickens and wiccans and wiccans and sicks and, you know, who the hell are you people kidding? You idiots, you clowns, you morons, you maricones. But, you know, keeps them off the streets, like I always tell you. How come my thing isn't refreshing now?
Uh-oh.
It's refreshing and it is mine. Is it?
Brisk and refreshing.
Well, mine is not. Mine is like kind of stale. You can almost smell it. How about that Too Good broad? Do you think we need to see her a few more times?
Oh, yeah. Just put a nickel in me.
This goes to show you how sick the media is. This bitch beats the crap out of her little girl, gets caught. This traveler bitch, which I got stuff about the Irish travelers in a minute when we get to it. And now all of a sudden she's a celebrity and she's out there making the rounds and all the talking head shows. It's sick. Since we got this 24-hour news thing, it's changed the whole concept of what life is all about. She's on there pretending, oh, well, gee, I just lost my temper, and there's a lesson to be learned. And, of course, to top it all off, she's like kind of should have been fixed. She should have been surgically fixed.
Six-toed, wall-eyed mugwump.
Exactly. And don't be insulting whatever. Yeah, look at that, Wiccans and Six and Wiccans and Six, and back and forth. And in came those votes in chunks. So we had like 200 phony votes on a poll over the weekend. A disgrace. So we got a big day today, boys and girls. Let me tell you 2 reasons why today's a big day. It's a big day for George.
It is?
Didn't know that, did you?
No.
Well, why not? Today the trend is coming out at 1 o'clock, which, we don't want to interrupt the Mad Dog show.
I knew about that.
Well, yeah, but that's going to be way heavily on your shoulders because the months are going to be June, July, and August. So that's like, huh?
Yeah.
That's 2/3 of the summer book, and that's basically the majority of time when you were on. Because when the hell did I don't know. Yeah, that's right. Because I came back to the full schedule August 26th, which would be after this trend. And I'll tell you who else it's going to be a big trend for. Which I don't want to say there's any connection between the fact that somebody's ratings in the morning have been really crap. But the Beast is not going to be, he's on vacation this week, and when he comes back next week is not going to be on the morning show. Will not be working on the Mo Howard show. And of course, there are the usual denials from sub-management types, of which we got about 200 in the building now. Oh, no, it's got nothing to do with Mo. It's he's got a busy schedule with the Hurricanes, and he's got this. Well, that's not the room around the rest of the building, I'll tell you that. Okay? But it's not just Mo. That's always been the case with the morning show, even back when the worst team was there.
Right.
Always had to have a scapegoat. The book would come out, they'd have a bad book or a couple of bad trends, and right away, let's find somebody to fire so we can blame them for it. Remember Donnie B?
Oh, of course. Bad guest, man. Couldn't book a good guest.
Oh, brother. It's from the Brooke Daniels, Randy Rhoads, School of Scapegoating the Producer. See, people don't tune into a radio show because they like the producer. People don't tune into a radio show, especially a sports show, because they got great guests. I mean, on this station, it's the same people all the time anyway. You got your Pat Riley, and you got your Beano Cook. Oh, speaking of Beano, look at that. Bad news. Must be the Humper is en route today back from whatever NFL game was covering yesterday. Because we got at 3 this afternoon. Boy, fate, no wonder the Humper's numbers have been going in the crapper lately. Too much between 3 and 6:30 today. Oh, God. Hank will be back tomorrow, though. Make no mistake. Be sure and run around town telling everybody about that. The Humper will be back tomorrow. How about those Patriots, huh? Oh! They made it exciting there in the end. In fact, the Dolphins have to play in Kansas City next week. That could be a real test because Kansas City is a scoring machine. They got no defense, but they're a scoring machine. So naturally, we made it exciting enough to send it in overtime so Adam Vinatieri could win it with a field goal. But how about that Tom Brady and Troy Brown? Oh! Woo! Man, unbelievable. And, of course, like I told you, the Dolphins pushed over. Didn't I tell you that the Jets sucked? Another girls' team. I don't know, but they got like a last-place schedule, the Dolphins. They play all girls' teams. But next week could be a different story. Okay, let's get back to this survey, okay? Semi-annual religion poll, which we should have just forgot about it. Which one are you? We won't do this again until March. Mark it down, March 10th. We'll do it again in March, and only once a year. Because when you repeat things, they don't want to be bothered with it. In the poll in March, we had 800 atheists and agnostics. Now, wouldn't you think that would be the one category on this show, of all shows, that would, like, hold up there big time?
You'd think.
Well, where the hell did they all disappear to? Agnostics, 314, atheists, 257. So you add those together, you got 671 as opposed to 800. Now, well, you have to account for the fact there are a lot of people still out of town, but nonetheless, Catholics, 231. In the poll in March, it was 262. So that's pretty close. The sick and wick, you notice how they're even,
right,
Steven?
Even Steven.
There's 200 phony votes at least.
Coincidence?
We're not going to dignify with a response. Jewish, 125. Now, last time we broke it down, Orthodox, Reformed, and Conservative. We didn't bother with that this time. 125. Protestants, 110. Born-again Christians actually went up. Oh! Hallelujah, baby! The born-again Christians are getting into the show now. 54. And you want to know why? Because they're waiting for Armageddon. They want to hear it first on the show. I don't know what you're laughing about. You better cut it out, mister. You're going to burn in hell. Buddhist, 12. Shinto, 12, which we didn't have Shintos on last time. And we apologize to the Seventh-day Adventists. We like your scrapple. We left them off this time. They had 14 last time, and they probably were looking to get on the pool this time and couldn't find it. We apologize, don't we?
Yeah, a little bit.
No. Shinto is 12. Jehovah's Witnesses, 10. What do we have last time? 21. Oh, don't tell me we've offended the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Maybe they became born-again Christians.
That could be it. Maybe that's where the other ones came from. Muslim, 8. Mormon, 6. We had 8 Mormons last time, only 6 this time. Very depressing. Hindu, 4. Scientologist, 4. And Christian Scientists, we had 3. Probably reporting to Tom Cruise and Lisa Marie every day. Do you hear what they said on that show?
Oh, those are the Scientologists, remember?
So it's a big day today. 1 o'clock, we got the trend coming out. Now, what's the other reason it's a big day? Oh, and because at 1 o'clock, our Toronto engineer is going to be here in this little studio of mine, in this beautiful little studio. And guess what he's going to fix today, boys and girls? The phone.
Rectum.
Yeah, that's right. So that leads into our poll questions for today, which I'm sure Eric is sitting on pins and needles on the end of his little sofa. Although in Eric's case, probably a big sofa with a big whoopee cushion. Here's our poll question today. We're going to get the phones fixed today. And he said something about messing with the equalization or the something, which I sure hope he doesn't, because does it sound to you like we have any kind of a problem?
No, it sounds great.
Sounds better than it did before I went off to Amsterdam, doesn't it?
Indeed it does.
Sounds excellent. We're not talking over each other, and you sound like you're sitting right across the room, which would be on that little balcony out there. Don't lean back. It's several stories down there. Oops. There he goes. But so I hope he doesn't mess with that. But, of course, knowing our engineers, and I'm sure he'll be on the phone with Mini Bob when he comes here at 1 o'clock. But the phones are going to be fixed, which leads to the possibility that we can take phone calls on this show again. So here's our poll question. Should Neil start taking calls on the show again? We've got 5 choices.
Wow.
Well, I like to give him a lot of choices. Yes, please, exclamation point. Yes, but only a few. Maybe one day a week. Absolutely not, please, exclamation point. Or if he does, I'll blow my brains out, exclamation point. What do you think? Does that cover?
I know what Carlos is voting for.
I see. Should Neil start taking calls on the show again? Oh, Carlos, don't do it. Yes, please, exclamation point. Yes, but only a few. Maybe one day a week. Absolutely not, please, exclamation point. And if he does, I'll blow my brains out, exclamation point. There's the poll, Eric. Yeah, where the hell did all our atheist and agnostics go? Well, they probably found a better. Speaking of polls, before we do the break, Newsweek poll, right up to date. In this week's Newsweek, which has got the front cover story about how we made him what he is today, which I got the part of that for you. Newsweek poll, has the Bush administration done a good job of explaining U.S. policy toward Iraq? 26,000 responses, give or take. Yes, 34%. No, 60%. Don't know, 5%. You got that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he's done a good job of explaining, 34%. No, 60% out of nearly 30,000 responses in Newsweek. Hardly a liberal rag, okay? I just mentioned that in passing. 9:13 at 560 WQM. I'm sure you've heard the news about the 3.95% mortgage.
Uh-huh.
So if you've been thinking about doing it, don't just think anymore. Do something. Now's the time, the smart time to buy a home or refinance your existing home at the amazingly low rate of only 3.95%. If you have a 7.5% mortgage, the 3.95% would save you over 3.5% or over $3,500 the first year on a $100,000 mortgage. So instead of making things hard for yourself, pick up the phone and make them easy by calling Financial Group at their toll-free number, 1-800-940-LEND. That's 1-800-940-5363. Getting a mortgage someplace else in the long run is going to cost you a lot of cash, thousands of dollars every year. Think of all the money you're going to save when you have a 3.95% mortgage. Financial Group has helped thousands and thousands and zillions of customers just like you. Put your financing in the best possible position by getting yourself a 3.95% mortgage. Call Financial Group today and be sure and tell them Todd Dreck told you to call. 1-800-940-5363. 1-800-940-5363. They're an equal housing lender. Credit restrictions do apply and rates are subject to change if you wait too goddamn long.
Live and local. This is Sports Radio 560. QAM.
He spun him right out of his jockstrap.
Tonight on HBO, it's The Sensitive Sopranos.
Yo, I thought I'd get you a new dress. I hope she likes the color. It's the color of my new machine gun.
Thanks, you're so thoughtful. You're a real gem.
I'm sorry about the horse head in your bed. I promise next time, nothing bigger than a chihuahua.
The Sensitive Sopranos.
Yo, Tony, thanks for cleaning the dead bodies off the carpet. You're real domesticated.
Bada bing.
Hey, you know what? I left a category off of there. Just when Eric got the whole poll up there, and I make him put another one on there. Sorry, Eric. Makes no difference to me.
Oh, very good, right.
Huh? Sure. Right. In other words, we got that 1%, well, I don't know what the percent is, but there's a percentage of the audience that they don't care. They're so loyal and they're so obsessed that if I sat here going, and as long as they knew it was me going, like that, or if I was just going, like that, they would listen religiously 4 hours every day, every single day.
That's right.
We'll find out how many of them listened when George was on this summer tomorrow morning when we dissect all those numbers in the trend, June, July, and August. This is going to be pressure, heavy duty, baby. Don't you feel the pressure?
Yes, I do. I'll be right back.
That's probably because you didn't go out and take a crap this morning. That's the news for the audience, by the way, who keep track. George went out and took a leak this morning, but not a crap, which I can't believe that.
Took one before I left.
I see. Only one?
Just one.
Oh, the word around town is Joe Rose and Charles Elmore are bad-mouthing somebody on the station. I don't want to mention any names. Okay, so there we go. Makes no difference. That was quick. Jesus God. Look at that. Boy, this Eric is on top of it today, man. He's probably the one who voted for all those sick and wick and he's probably done it just to be a smartass. You know, he's got kind of a strange sense of humor.
Yes. Notice that.
We start out, 10,002 votes. Eric, like I said, you need some mental help. Now, maybe that's just an aberration, okay? Or maybe that's just him being
No, he did
smart
that
ass.
to crack you up. He'll fix it right
well,
away.
it worked.
He just wanted to show that he can rig the poll, too, if it really came down to it.
I know that. He can rig it, and the poll, too. Court date today for videotape mom, and it come to find out that she's an Irish traveler. This bitch, who's now a media celebrity. Just like those three. Oh, and then Michael Mayo, which I wouldn't waste the time. I wouldn't dignify him by reading it on the air. He's got this Hearts and Flowers thing where he rips the guy from the medical school there in Miami because they initially said that those three schmata heads couldn't go to school, but they're eventually going to change their mind when the publicity dies down. And he's ripping this guy. These three clowns, I mean, by any standards, they deserve whatever the hell they get. Yes. Making up stories about, we're going to do this and we're going to blow it up, and if you don't believe this broad, I mean, there's no way that anybody, no matter what kind of a scumbag she might be, no matter how bigoted she might be alleged, could concoct some kind of a story like that. Although I will say this, and then of course the media just jump right in there. Oh, well, they went flying through the toll booth. Nobody went flying through any toll booth, okay? The one guy paid for the both of them, right?
Right.
$3, $1.50 and $1.50, like I told you here. It wasn't $1, you assholes on CNN. You guys better get with it. See, these are not people who travel the alley. They don't know what they're talking about. You been on the alley?
You talking to me?
You're going to be in the alley if those numbers don't come out good today. Boy, I tell you, the pressure. I realize it's only a trend, but you got to understand, this only takes you up to like when I came back. Not that it's going to be any big deal when I come back, but nevertheless, it probably might be. Court date today for videotape mom. We'll get to the Travelers thing in a minute, which ought to be pretty interesting. The Irish Travelers, that's with 2 L's. A court hearing is set today for Indiana for Madeline Gorman Toogood, the 25-year-old mother who was videotaped hitting her 4-year-old girl in a department store parking lot. I'm sure that nobody in this audience has seen that videotape more than 4,000 times. Toogood, who faces a child battery charge, has had her daughter taken from her and placed in foster care. 2 other children's sons are said to be staying with relatives. My baby right now is with people she doesn't know. Because of what I did, she's been took away, sobbed Toogood. She's been took away. She's never did nothing wrong. Now, who the hell's calling me on my cell phone? Is that my cell phone?
That ain't mine.
Well, who the hell could that be?
Your bookie?
I don't have a bookie. My cell phone's ringing in the other room. Now, doesn't that make you like curious who'd be calling me? It's probably a wrong number.
Maybe it's Norm.
She never did nothing wrong, and she's not going to know what we have. Oh, I got to go get my cell phone. Hum a tune, okay? I got to just see it.
No problem. Vivaldi. For those who care.
Okay, it's a Broward number, so you know that. Should I call it? Here you go, call.
Give it out on the air.
I'm calling it right now.
All right.
Because anytime I get a call on here, 90% of the time it's a, you have reached mailbox number, yeah.
That's nice.
It's the wrong frickin' number. I'm not leaving no message. Go away, okay? Kill that music. Now, let's see. Let's get back to this illiterate rambling from this bitch. She never did nothing wrong, and she's not going to know what we haven't come and got her. Huh? This is from CBSNews.com. I'm not just paraphrasing. This is a direct quote. She's not going to know what we haven't come and got her. She's been took away. Forced sterilization, folks. I've been telling you on this program for years. Toogood has said that she lost her temper in the parking lot of Kohl's department store in Mishawaka, Indiana, because she was having a bad day and she feels terrible now about her actions. You ever been in Mishawaka, Indiana?
No.
Don't go there.
Okay.
She told reporters yesterday that it is true she hit her 4-year-old daughter, Martha, no kidding, in the head and back and pulled her hair, but she didn't punch her. Toogood said she herself was horrified when she saw the videotape. I was thinking, I look like a monster, Toogood said, crying. I can't believe I did that to my little 4-year-old girl. Right. On a surveillance videotape of the September 13th incident, which has been televised nationally 52 million times, Too Good appears to be making punching motions toward her daughter, who was mostly hidden within the sport utility vehicle. Martha didn't deserve what she got, Too Good said. I just lost my temper. Authorities have said Too Good left the Kohl's department store in northern Indiana angry because she was denied a cash refund for 2 pairs of jeans. She denied that the failed refund attempt was connected to the beating. Now, you're trying to tell me, and we're not accusing her specifically, but just in general, that one of the scams that the travelers like to pull is they go in and they shoplift stuff and then they go to the refund thing and try to get the cash?
Right. That's a standard shoplifting kind of thing. Like you steal something from one Sears and then go try to return it at another for cash.
I see. Her attorney, Stephen Rosen, said he believed the hitting took place because Martha misbehaved in the store, taking toys out of packages and wandering away, prompting store employees to page Too Good twice. Too Good was said she's an Irish traveler who currently lives in Michigan but moves from place to place looking for work, reiterated her feelings that her daughter should at least be allowed to live with her husband or another family member. She said she hopes to be reunited with her daughter and that she, her daughter, and her husband, John, plan to start parenting classes. Oh. Anything they want us to do, we'll do, Too Good said. She was charged with felony battery to a child, which carries a maximum penalty of 3 years in prison. She said her 2 young sons are staying with family. Now, the Irish traveler thing, which I checked it out on the web, no matter what you check out on the web, there's always some pretty interesting crap. Our poll is up, by the way. We got 27 votes. Irish travelers, sometimes known as itinerants or tinkers. Tinkers.
Yep.
Are a very small minority group in Ireland. Tinkers. They make up less than 1% of the population, with about 23,000 people in the Republic and another 1,500 in the North. It's also estimated there are about 15,000 Irish travelers in Britain and another 7,000 in the USA. Irish travelers belong to a distinct ethnic group within Ireland. They have their own language, beliefs, and social customs, which have been made stronger over time due to their exclusion and marginalization from mainstream settled society.
Yeah, they're pretty marginal.
Occasionally, Irish travelers have been confused with the Roma or Gypsies in England, who, despite centuries of coexistence, cultural interchange, and limited intermarriage, remain a distinct people. Until not so long ago, Irish travelers were referred to as tinkers. This word referred to their occupation as tinsmiths and metalworkers and was derived from the Irish word seared, smith, or tinkered, tinsmith. This word is now generally used in a derogatory sense. You goddamn tinkers! Most of the travelers' traditional crafts such as spoon mending, tinsmithing, and flower making have gone by the way now as a result of urbanization and the introduction of plastic and industrial technology. Travelers' musicians have included the great Wallenian piper Felix Duran. Oh, God, don't you love him? And the world-renowned folk musicians, the Fury Brothers. The music and singing of the Irish travelers have been in decline since urbanization and the arrival of television, or as Alex Bennett would say, television. Fewer travelers now rely on singing and making music for their livelihood as in times gone by. There are a number of theories as to the origin of Irish travelers. Their secret language, Shelta, and the evidence of various historical references to them would seem to indicate that they're remnants of an ancient class of wandering poets, joined by those who were pushed off the land during different times of social and economic upheaval, such as Cromwell's campaign of slaughter, the Battle of Boyne, and the Battle of Aughrim. Many of the travelers may also be the descendants of people who were left homeless as a result of the Irish potato famines of the 19th century. Oy! I think it's time to, upgrade a little bit, get at least into the 20th century. Huh?
Get over it already.
Yeah, get over all of that, okay? There's plenty of potatoes around. Maniacs. 9:26 at 560 WQAM. Happy Monday to you. And, the Beast who's not going to be working on a morning show anymore, that's the rumor I'm hearing, he's lost 55 pounds on Balance for Life, and you can do the same thing. There are all these quack diets out there, all of these pills that are supposed to make you lose weight overnight while you're sleeping, all of these potions and lotions and that stupid chitosan and chitosol. Forget about it, because all they are is one big ripoff exploiting you because you're two things. You're fat and you're desperate. Balance for Life isn't a scam. It's delicious, prepared food according to the principles of the Zone Diet by Dr. Barry Sears. But like I keep telling you, the Zone Diet's very complicated, and too complicated for most people, which is why Balance for Life is so great, because they do all of the figuring. They hormonally balance all of your meals, and your food is all there. You don't have to count calories. You don't have to count carbs. You don't have to go shopping. You don't have to do anything, because they bring right to you. Well, you do have to do one thing, and that is select from the list they give you. There's a menu list every day, and you pick from 2 choices for each meal, for each snack, and that's it. That's the only thing you have to do, whatever you like the best. And that little black snack, snatch that they deliver to your door every morning, by 6 o'clock. It's got all your food in there for the whole day. 3 gourmet meals, 2 delicious snacks right to your doorstep. And believe me, the food is fresh. It's delicious. There's nothing frozen. There's nothing prefabricated. No tiny little packages like those other diet programs. And the weight just comes just pouring off your body while you got a big smile on your puss because you're full, you're satisfied, and you're eating delicious, great gourmet stuff. You just can't beat it. So pick up that phone and call Balance for Life right now, and I promise you in no time at all, you'll look better than the beast. Call 954-568-3229. 954-568-3229. It's the painless, the healthy way to lose weight. You can check them out on the web if you like at balanceforlife.com.
Live and local. This is Sports Radio 560. QAM.
Howard David.
And that's why I think the Jets will have a championship season.
The Jets?
And what did I tell you? You don't talk till I say you can talk.
This is the Beast.
I said, shut up, fatso.
But you're like a father to me.
You don't talk till I'm done talking. When I'm done talking, then you talk.
Okay, I'll...
Hey, Beast, come here.
What?
Come here. I want you to meet a friend of mine, Mr. Golf Club. Why, I oughta... I'm gonna show you the business end of this thing. Come here. This court sentences you to 20 years in Oz. What you in for? I thought a tag off my mattress. Looked like we'll be bunkmates. The name's Mo Howard David. Star of stage screen in paradise. What's yours? They call me Coffee. You got so tan. Thank you. Hey, get out. So powder and drill, honey. I'm going to make you my woman. Ain't nobody going to stop it. God. Still, Pinky. All right, shower time. You got 10 minutes. Well, it was to be safe in here.
Yo, Bowtie.
Yo, man.
Get load our new Linda Blair over there.
Ain't so pretty.
Okay.
Hey, don't embarrass me like that. Do you know who I am?
Okay, man. Bend over and pick it up now.
All right, but I expect a written apology on my press
And
conference.
that broom handle, Bowtie.
Hello, broom hand. I'll take the throne.
Lord, will see you now.
Thanks.
Well, Mr. David.
Hello, Warden.
Oh, Jack Warden. How can I help you?
Well, you see, Warden,
Yes?
I keep getting raped.
Oh, isn't that a shame? I'll look into it right away.
Thanks, Warden. It's about time somebody...
Now drop your pad.
Huh?
I said drop your pad. This is Oz, fella. Favors don't come cheap.
Yo, let's rape Mo. Radio Big Shot. That's how we pass the time away in the gay old jail of Oz.
Rumor around the building is that's number 1 with 3 bullets, is what I'm hearing. And, you know, it just dawned on me. I guess I'm a little bit slow on the upchuck. But the fact that the Beast is, like, being reassigned to other duties and is being blown off of that morning show when he comes back from vacation next week, you don't think it had anything to do with that bit, do you? Anyway, moving right along. We got 69 votes. Look at that interesting number. 69. Should Neil start taking calls on the show again? Because they're fixing our phones today at 1 o'clock. How do you like that? Yes, but only a few. 19. Maybe one day a week. 17. Yes, please. 14. If he does, I'll blow my brains out. 9. It makes no difference to me. 7. 10%. See, it's that 10% loyal people out there. They don't give a crap what we do. I like that. We should have like 100%.
Let's clone those people.
Yeah. Absolutely not, please. Only 3. Only 3, absolutely not. So that's pretty interesting, huh?
I voted for the blow my brains out.
So those are the early returns. And, of course, Carlos and George both say, we don't want to do that. We don't want to hear 400 times a day again. Well, we'll see. You know, we'll play it by ear. Because we're going to have the phones all fixed. It'd be kind of a shame to have the thing actually working here tomorrow and not be using it.
Yeah, that would be tragic.
We got some faxes here. Here's one that says, Neil, you're wrong. The Dolphins play the second toughest schedule in the NFL this year, same as the Patriots. Well, guess what? They get off to an easy start, just like they do every year, which is why they're 3 and because they played 3 girls teams so far. Remember that Detroit, the pathetic, defenseless Colts, who fumbled their way past a girls team, Houston, an expansion team yesterday, and the Jets, who are a girls team. With no respect to our New Yorkers out there who always singing a big tune, the Jets suck. I told you that before the game yesterday. The Jets are a joke. They got no offense and they got no defense. Other than that, they're pretty good. They suck. Whereas the Patriots knocked off Pittsburgh, who supposedly was going to be so damn good. They pounded the crap out of them. The Jets, who were like 1-0 at the time, who wriggled off against Buffalo in overtime, who were supposed to be good, they pounded the crap out of them. And Kansas City, who's got a dynamite offense, that, what the hell's that running back's name? Jesus Priest, something like that.
Priest
Man. Holmes Priest. Priest Sherlock Holmes. Anyway, so they send me the Dolphins schedule. Denver, Oakland, Kansas City, Patriots, the Jets twice, right there, girls team. The Colts, San Diego, which is another girls team, and the Bears, who are like a lot worse than everybody thought they would be. How come you knew that? How come you knew Priest Holmes?
That was Chuck.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. I thought you weren't into sports.
No, I follow football. Compared to these people, I'm not into sports.
In other words, you're more casual. You're not obsessed with it.
Yeah.
You're not psychotic about it.
Yeah, it's not my life.
Here's Jerry, the ebullient guy. Remember him?
No.
Yeah, he's the one who was calling from New York that day to correct my pronunciation. And he was trying to tell me it was ebullient. And then finally we looked it up on the thing, and I was, of course, right. See, I know my words, okay, schmuck, Jerry? But anyway, Jerry sends me a fax. He says, hi, George. Hey, Neil. The entertainment yardstick. I measure quality in radio entertainment by the level of my wife's displeasure. Simply put, if she really, really despises something, A, it's probably great stuff, and B, I'm probably going to love it. And, man, she hates you like poison, Neil. She thinks you are Schmidt incarnate. And you know the best part? She's a stockbroker. And that's what he says, oi with 10 Ys. By the way, a friend turned me out of the Neil Rogers Show about 3 years ago while in Coral Gables, and now that I'm able to get the show off the net, I listen religiously, despite having been a diehard Howard Sperm fan for years. Let's face it, Howard Sperm is no Neil Rogers, and I can say with certainty this is not an ass-sucking, but a mere statement of fact. Anyway, big kiss on the lips, no tongue. Your New York pally, Jerry, the ebullient guy. P.S. See you at the Macarena sometime this year. Maybe. A couple of times. How about those Maple Leafs, huh?
No.
Come on, won an exhibition game last night. And here's a fax from Dick in Coral Springs. Did you see this?
No. Well, I mean, yeah.
Let's see. Richard. Oh, I see. Here's the response, because he faxed the program director at WABC.
About Lynn?
About Lynn getting fired. Lynn Samuels is great, by the way, and we love her, and she's got a great website, which we got a link to on our website now. She's great. She's like heads and shoulders above most of the other bozos who do this kind of radio. She says, they respond to this writer. Okay, since you asked, Lynn Samuels' program on Saturday night was not profitable for WABC. Although we paid her salary, never able to sell advertising inside the show. Things have been tough for all advertising, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, they put a couple of syndicated shows on like Cheap Channel does. We don't pay the salaries. They're syndicated shows. While advertising is still difficult, we have an easier time selling financial-based shows to money-type clients than we did for Lynn Samuels. I do regret the decision. I was always a Lynn fan, as I know you are, too. Signed, Phil Boyce from Golden Pacifica. How do you like that, huh? About Lynn Samuels getting screwed over there. It's the nature of the business, sweetheart. Hang in there. And whatever you do, don't stop with that website. There's a lot of great crap on there. There's not a single day that goes by I don't get some good stories off our website. Couple accused, and this is a natural segue off the story about that too-good bitch, the Traveler. Couple accused of locking 7-year-old girl in room for months. This is in Tampa. How do you like that? Again, most of the bad crap comes back to Florida.
Tampa.
Yeah. A mother and her boyfriend were arrested for allegedly locking the woman's 7-year-old daughter in a room for more than 4 months and giving her so little food she looked like a walking skeleton. Connie Warrington, 23, and David LaPointe, 36, face 8 counts of abuse, including caging, food deprivation, and medical neglect, according to a police report. When police found the girl earlier this month, she weighed 25 pounds. Normally, a child that age would weigh about 55 pounds. She looked like a walking skeleton, Tampa police spokesman Joe Durkin said, no relation to Tom Durkin. Police on Friday charged Warrington, a housekeeper, with 3 counts of abuse, and LaPointe, who is unemployed, with 5 counts, who's unemployed.
Yes.
The couple, originally from Glens Falls, New York, were being held without bail. Police didn't know if the couple had attorneys. You ever been to Glens Falls, New York?
No, I haven't.
Don't go there.
Okay.
In May, Warrington unlawfully took her daughter from a New York hospital where she was being treated for the effects of abuse and moved to Tampa, Durkin said. Tampa police didn't have details of the abuse she was being treated for. Earlier this month, the girl's biological father, Daniel Sims, discovered the dismal conditions after he came up with a court order to pick her up. He now has custody of his daughter in Glens Falls. According to the Tampa police report, Warrington and LaPointe kept the girl in a locked bedroom with no furniture, no toys. She used a closet as a bathroom. The child said LaPointe locked her up and only occasionally fed her because she was bad, and he hated her, according to the report. LaPointe bit the girl on the back as a form of punishment, the report said. The child also told police LaPointe pushed a bead deep into her ear canal. Doctors in New York hospital surgically removed it earlier this month. State authorities have custody of LaPointe and Warrington's children, a 1-year-old boy and 3-year-old girl who are healthy and unharmed. Forced sterilization, baby, like I said, forced freaking sterilization. That's the only hope for the future of the goddamn human subhuman race. Forced sterilization. Now. And I get to pick and choose. 9:41 at 560 WQM. How about those Emmys? Watch it? No. You watch it?
No. I forgot it was on.
Good choice. Hey, by now I'm sure you've heard the incredible earning potential of a computer professional. Have you heard about that?
Yes.
I knew it. You've heard me talk about the incredible demand for certified computer professionals and about the great people at Fast Train. Make no mistake about it. It's time to do yourself a big favor. Pick up the phone and call our good friends at Fast Train at their toll-free number, 1-866-FAST-TRAIN. If you're tired of working for peanuts, if you're tired of not having two nickels to rub together, you can complete this program, get certified in just 4 short months, and be on your way to a newer, high-paying career. Fast Train has got 4 convenient locations in Dade and Broward, including that brand-new one in Kendall. They've got convenient classes for you, days, evenings, and even weekends to fit your personal schedule. Fast Train has got a full-time job placement department with over 30 years' experience. So what are you waiting for? Pick up that phone today. Call this number toll-free, 1-866-FAST-TRAIN. That's 1-866-FAST-TRAIN. Be sure and tell them that Todd Dreck, useless as teats on a pencil, told you to call. And, of course, you can check them out on the web, if you like, at fasttrain.com.
Live and local. This is 560. The radio's all yours now. QAM.
Is on Queer Street right now.
Good afternoon. This is your captain speaking with just a little flight information. Coming up on the left, we're going to be catching a glimpse of the Grand Canyon. On the right, you can be able to see the Hoover Dam in just a few minutes. Couple little facts here. I'm packing a Colt King Cobra. That's a .357 caliber firearm with a black rubber grip and a 6-inch barrel. Co-pilot is carrying a Kimber Custom Defense pistol with all the bells and whistles you'd expect from a custom gun of that kind, with an alloy frame and bevel treatment on the entire gun.
Pilot's got a gun. Pilot's got a gun. It's a loaded one. Down to nothing down. Better think it through before you overtake the crew. Instead of you getting arrested, something worse will happen on the plane. You terrorists have it coming now. The pilots have it gun. They just might be throwing out your brain.
Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the flight.
9:47 at 560 WQAM. You know these scumbags in Chicago that ran out there in the field, his father and his son?
Yes.
The guy with the tattoos all over his body looked like Charles Manson on a bad day. Come to find out that this wasn't something that they did because they were drunk, because it was the 9th inning and they had too many beers. Come to find out, it looks like it was premeditated. A Cook County judge ordered a man who ran onto the field at Comiskey Park and attacked a Kansas City Royals coach held on $200,000 bond. During a hearing, a prosecutor described how William League Jr. telephoned his sister before the attack and told her to watch the White Sox game because he was going to be on. When she couldn't find the game on TV, he told her to watch the news because he'd be on it, Assistant State's Attorney Colleen Daly be saying. It was just a short time after that call, Daly said, that League and his 15-year-old son ran onto the field in the 9th inning of that game between the White Sox and the Royals and attacked Tom Gamboa, the first base coach. League was charged with a felony count of aggravated battery in a public place of amusement, Daly said. League told police after his arrest that he charged in the field because he was angry the White Sox were losing, but Daly said the attack was premeditated. Shortly before he ran onto the field, League handed his keys, cell phone, and jewelry to another one of his sons. She said League was wearing a pocket knife on his waistband when he ran onto the field. The 15-year-old son has been charged with 2 juvenile counts of aggravated battery, one for attacking Gamboa and the other one for hitting a White Sox security guard, an off-duty police officer. The teenager is due in court today. Daly said the attack on the 54-year-old Gamboa was unprovoked and disputed the contention reportedly made by League and his son that the coach provoked him with an obscene gesture. So, in other words, to make a long story short with his scumbag and his punk kid, this was his 15 seconds of fame.
Not to interrupt.
Yes?
Tom Welling's on Regis and Kathy right now.
Oh, what channel's that on?
That's on 7 down here. So
well, I don't know about that. Let's see. There's WKBW. There's some
Regis
sports
and
around there. Oh, don't tell me I don't have it. Oh,
Regis
there he is.
Oh,
no, we're not going to commercial now. I bet you that's the end of it, too. Was that the end of the interview?
I don't know.
Oh, no. You got to be schmitting me. Boy, you're really falling down on the job, you know?
Oh, I forgot about it. That was a fax, actually, that I got.
Well, don't you remember you told me on Friday we both forgot about it? And I have to take the blame for that because, that's heavy-duty stuff. Tomorrow, Smallville returns. Oh! And this should be, and talk about how your mind is not working too well. You forgot about the fact that guy who found the little octagonal piece of the spaceship, that he kind of floated it toward the thing and it locked into place. And a spaceship kind of took off a little bit. It was like floating.
I
it was
missed
in
the
midair.
Season finale.
It was kind of like Carlos, not our Carlos there, but the one out by the front reception desk. It was floating. The spaceship too. And poor Tom Welling, he had to go after that red pickup truck, and he wasn't really sure whether he wanted to catch it or not, because he wasn't sure whether Lana was in it or Janet Reno. So it's going to be a heavy-duty episode, the premiere of this season's Smallville on WB tomorrow night. And what time is that on? 8 or 9?
8, I think.
I always get confused about that. I think you're wrong. I think it's 9. But somebody will tell us, okay, because I sure don't want to miss that. And I'll have the tape running. I'll have all 3 TVs turned on all over the damn place here. Now, we got a mixed bag on our poll so far today. We got 130 votes. And we have, all over the place. Should Neil start? And let me say it again, in case you missed the beginning of the show, which shame on you, because it's a big day in paradise, baby. 1 o'clock today, the trend comes out, which is 2/3 of the summer book. This is George's, in addition to which, of course, this will also see if we, instead of those awful Best of Neil tapes from last summer, which we were running twice a week, whether it might be on a few, not too many days, and not by choice, believe me, I didn't want to be sick, which I haven't even told about, like being sick yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
I thought, here we go again. I woke up yesterday morning with a little chills and fever. I thought, oh, no. But I think what happened is that over the night, before the night, Saturday night, I slept with the covers off to the side. I got a little bit of a chill. I can't sleep and get a chill, man. Anytime that happens, I get sick. But I thought, here we go. Back to the flu again, back to the Amsterdam flu. But luckily, I took my Allegra and my extra strength Tylenol to see if I could damage my liver, and I'm doing pretty good. I just mentioned that in passing. Now, how did I get to that?
Summer book.
But yeah, so we'll see if those 2 days a week that I worked, which I worked a few days. How many shows did I do from Amsterdam? 1? I did a few. I was sick. Look, do you think I really wanted to be sick, especially in Amsterdam? I don't think so. That was depressing.
Hey, they're back. They got Tom.
Oh, there he is.
Superman, Clark Kent was like.
But he's got schmutz on his face. Is he growing like a little growth?
Superman. Yeah. And
don't spread your legs like that, Tom.
2 minutes we've been on commercial. Mike, you're actually throwing yourself.
And what's with that bad do? It looks like he ran into a lawnmower.
Yes. Wow. And admiring his feet and everything?
Well, he's got,
he
has very large feet.
Hey, some guys have large feet and some guys have large zucchinis. What's the problem?
We're a good team then.
Yeah.
We're a good team.
Some guys have both.
It's big, Neil. It's bigger than both of them.
Hate it when she's right. All right, so you got Smallville. Yep. Now this is early Clark Kent, so there are no tights of an S.
Okay, well, we can't put Regis on here. We got a show to do. 137 votes, but I'm watching out of the corner of my eye. Should Neil start taking calls on the show? Because the phones will be fixed at 1 o'clock. We got the trends coming. We got the engineer coming up here to fix the phones. 146 votes. Yes, but only a few. 44, 30.1%. Yes, please. 37, 25 point. So in other words, about a quarter of the audience is really jonesing for phone calls. Maricon, that stuff, It makes no difference to me. 23, 15.7%. Boy, I'll tell you, that number is zooming up there, you know it? The loyal audience crowd out there? Yeah, see, he's growing a little schmutz now. I don't like that. Go take a shave, Tom, you idiot.
It's his day off.
Don't give me that crap. It's his day off. He's growing a schmutz. All the guys now, they got to have that little bit of schmutz on their face. That went out with knickers, okay, sweetheart? Clean it up a little bit. Makes no difference to me, 23. Maybe one day a week, 23. If he does, I'll blow my brains out, 12. And absolutely not, please, 7. So it's all over the place, this poll, which is good. It's good. It's like nip and tuck, a real battle.
Well, we have a look at him right now in this clip from Smallville. Now,
here we go.
Your dad is missing, right, in this particular scene.
Yes.
And you...
How come he's got his hand on his crotch?
Have combined to hunt the woods.
I think he's going to whip it out right now,
Nixon, you still there? Clark. I'm just trying to call the fire department so we can get arrested.
Hey, Skinhead, it's Skinhead Luther, boy. Watch out for him, Clark. He's going to be trouble, baby. He's going to be big trouble. Never trust a skinhead. Scientists question Bush case against Iraq. This is by Andrew Buncombe in Washington from the British Independent. One of the key pieces of evidence in the Bush administration's case for military action against Saddam Hussein is being questioned by a number of leading U.S. scientists It also alleged that the administration is silencing dissent among its own analysts who raise questions. 2 weeks ago, the administration heralded the... Oh, and guess what else is a week from today?
A week from today?
Something big next week, September 30th. What is it?
Pizza Loft opening.
That's it! 2 weeks ago, the administration heralded the discovery of shipments of thousands of high-strength aluminum tubes to Iraq as proof that President Saddam was secretly trying to develop a program to produce nuclear weapons. Such tubes can be used in the production of enriched uranium, vital for such a program. The discovery of the tubes, which were intercepted en route to Iraq, was leaked to a leading American newspaper. Vice President Cheney went on a television talk show to say the tubes were evidence that Saddam was actively and aggressively trying to develop a nuclear program. But a report from the Institute for Science and International Security, ISIS, says such claims cannot be made. The report, a draft of which has been obtained by the Independent yesterday, concludes, by themselves these attempted procurements are not evidence that Iraq is in possession of or close to possessing nuclear weapons. They don't provide evidence that Iraq has an operating centrifuge plant or when such a plant could be operational. Washington said that in the past 14 months it has seized 2 separate shipments of tubes to Iraq. While it refuses to say where the seizures took place, it's been reported that at least one of the shipments originated in China was intercepted in Jordan. There is no evidence that any of the tubes actually reached Iraq. The shipments sparked concern among the U.S. intelligence community because of the use of such tubes in the centrifuges employed to make enriched uranium for nuclear bombs. Because these centrifuges rotate up to 1,000 times a minute, it's essential to use high-strength, heat-resistant metals, but the report produced by ISIS, an independent group that studies nuclear and other security issues, questions this conclusion on several technical grounds, suggesting that based on information released by the government, these tubes were of a thickness that would make them difficult to weld. It also says that by the time Iraq's nuclear weapons program was destroyed by coalition forces during the Gulf War, it had abandoned aluminum for specialized steel and carbon fiber. David Albright, director of ISIS and a scientist with first-hand experience of Iraq's nuclear weapons program, as a member of the International Atomic Energy Agency's inspection team, said there was a debate within the U.S. scientific community about the government's claims, but added that the Bush administration had clamped down on such discussion. I don't know why there's not more debate, he said. I've heard that a lot of people are expected to remain silent. The Bush administration has certainly scared people. I met one government scientist who said his phone was being monitored. How do you like that? What can you say? Huh? Scary. That's all you can say about it. 9:56 at 560 WQAM. Happy Monday. It's a big day, baby. I think today is the turning point in all of our lives. You know it? You believe that?
No.
Sounds good, though. Hey, I'll tell you what will be the turning point in your carpet's life, and that is one good cleaning from our friends at Dry Concepts. It'll turn your whole attitude around toward carpet cleaning. If you've tried other people and been disappointed in the past, if you tried schlepping home that heavy equipment from the supermarket and made yourself a mess, a soggy mess on the floor, don't waste your time with any of that anymore. Call our good friends at Dry Concepts. They've been in town for over 23 years. I've been using them in my house for 20 years. And everybody I know that's got a brain, that's got any common sense, uses these folks because nobody does it better. And nobody gives you a fairer deal either. And like I always tell you, Dry Concepts give you a written guaranteed price before they start the job. So you don't have to worry about rip-offs, tack-ons, disappointments when they finish. Oh, sorry, we gave you a wrong estimate. There's no such thing. A written guaranteed price before they start doing their spectacular job. When they finish, your carpets look just like brand new. They smell lemony fresh, and they're dry in just a couple of hours, and you'll have one of the biggest smiles on your puss you've had in a long time. And they also do a spectacular, unbeatable job of cleaning your furniture and drapery, making them look just like brand new. Spot dyeing, fiber protection, carpet repairs, in-plant oriental rug service, and that snazzy big plant of theirs, deodorization, and if a flood ever hits your house, complete water damage restoration, too. They're miracle workers right there on your floor, so call them today. You'll have like I said, a gigantic smile on your ugly puss. In Broward, call Dry Concepts at 954-370-7778. 954-370-7778. In Dade or Palm Beach, it's a toll-free call, 1-800-248-5071. 1-800-248-5071. Clean today, entertain tonight with Dry Concepts.
We're Sports Radio 560 QAM.
We all were enthusiastic to have American pop singer Lance Bass join us on our October mission. Then we received a video of his band in sync in the mail. After viewing, we were sickened. He sucks. He's horrible. An embarrassment. We told him to pack his bags. We told him to take his Tang and get the hell out of Russia. I just hope I didn't mind. Instead of the little boy band bastard, we are sending in his place a cargo box. Which, frankly, is more talented and smells better. This is an outrage. It's no wonder you Americans are all in counseling. My God in heaven, I feel I must now vomit. I taste the bile in my throat. Excuse me. Thank you.
Bye. Exactly. See, they're onto him. 10:02 at 560 WQAM. We got a big day today, baby. The Mad Dog, Jim Madich, won. And then, of course, nothing is perfect. We got for Hank from Shula's, no less. Oh, brother. Man. And then he's got Nat Moron with him between 5 and 6 with Joe Zagacki. Hurricane Hotline from Dave and Buster, 6:30 to 8:30. The big 8:30 to 10 because we couldn't find anybody else. Eddie K at 10 o'clock with a full show. And Joe and Mark overnight, 2 to 6 in the morning. By the way, our connection wasn't on this morning. I just mentioned that in passing. I wonder whose fault that was.
Don't know.
Who can we blame for that? Oh, here's Molly Ivins again. Thank you so much. Well, we'll get to that eventually. Here's Christopher Crone, who's mayor of Santa Cruz, California. Why I'm fighting federal drug laws from City Hall. How did I, a mayor of a small town in California, wind up in a tug-of-war with the DEA, he asks. This week I stood in front of Santa Cruz's City Hall as a local group that provides medical marijuana went about its weekly task of distributing the drug to the sick and dying. My story begins on the morning of September 5th when approximately 30 men, dressed in military fatigues and carrying automatic weapons, descended on a small cooperative farm run by the Woe Men's Alliance for Medical Marijuana in northern Santa Cruz County, about 65 miles south of San Francisco. They were pulling up organically grown marijuana plants. When the Santa Cruz County Sheriff's Office learned what was going on, it was at a loss to explain who the intruders were or what type of response was in order. I didn't hear about the raid till 10 a.m. when I was called in by members of the collective. I then telephoned the Santa Cruz police chief and other local officials. The chief hadn't heard anything either. Later it became clear that the DEA was making a raid. Agents collected more than 130 plants and arrested the founders of the Medical Marijuana Collective, Valerie and Mike Corral. The Corral of bewildered guys in the wide whale corduroy trousers, Izod polo shirts and Sperry topsiders, surrounded by wild and crazy hippies protesting the war and smoking roaches.
Yes.
I beg your pardon?
I said yes.
The Bushies want to bring the print is so small on this story.
I know it is tough.
The Bushies want to bring back the imperious presidency. The preemption proclamation had the tone of Cheney Caesar and Condi Ben-Hur. And the resolution sent to Congress seeking authority to go after Iraq was the broadest request for executive military authority since LBJ got the Gulf of Tonkin resolution rubber stamped in 1964. At least LBJ had to phony up the Tonkin resolution to get a provocation. Mr. Bush can't be bothered. I cannot believe the gall and arrogance of the White House, Senator Robert Byrd bellowed, which I have a story on that coming up. Things are getting dangerouser and dangerouser. Karl Rove's gunning for the Democrats. Ariel Sharon's gunning for Arafat. W's gunning for Saddam. And Al-Qaeda is still gunning for us. Writes Maureen Dowd. Boy, she used a whole bunch of ones in there, didn't she?
I know. I can't get the dictionary up either.
Woo! So anyway, Newsweek magazine this week. I highly recommend the September 23rd edition. It's on your newsstand now. How Saddam Happened. It's a front cover story. I just got a couple of quick pages here. Take just a minute. The last time Donald Rumsfeld saw Saddam Hussein, he gave him a cordial handshake. The date was almost 20 years ago, December 20th, 1983. An official Iraqi television crew recorded a historic moment. The once and future defense secretary, at the time a private citizen, had been sent by President Reagan to Baghdad as a special envoy. Saddam Hussein, armed with a pistol on his hip, seemed vigorous and confident, according to a now declassified State Department cable obtained by Newsweek. Rumsfeld conveyed the president's greetings and expressed his pleasure at being in Baghdad, wrote the note-taker. Then the two men got down to business, talking about the need to improve relations between their two countries. Like most foreign policy insiders, Rumsfeld was aware that Saddam was a murderous thug who supported terrorists and was trying to build a nuclear weapon. The Israelis had already bombed Iraq's nuclear reactor at Osirak. But at the time, America's big worry was Iran, not Iraq. The Reagan administration feared that the Iranian revolutionaries who had overthrown the Shah and taken American hostages and American diplomats hostage for 444 days would overrun the Middle East and its vital oil fields. Well, that word seems to keep coming up over and over again, you know, that oil thing? On the theory that the enemy of my enemy is my friend, the Reaganites were seeking to support Iraq in a long and bloody war against Iran. The meeting between Rumsfeld and Saddam was consequential. For the next 5 years, until Iran finally capitulated, the U.S. backed Saddam's armies with military intelligence, economic aid, and covert supplies of munitions. Rumsfeld is not the first American diplomat to wish for the defense of a former ally. After all, before the Cold War, the Soviet Union was America's partner against Hitler in WW2. In the real world, as the saying goes, nations have no permanent friends, just permanent interests. Nonetheless, Rumsfeld's long-ago interlude with Saddam is a reminder that today's friend can be tomorrow's mortal threat. As President George W. and his war cabinet ponder Saddam's successor's regime, they would do well to contemplate how and why the last three presidents allowed the butcher of Baghdad to stay in power so long. The history of America's relations with Saddam is one of the sorrier tales in American foreign policy. Time and again, America turned a blind eye to Saddam's predations, saw him as a lesser evil, or flinched at the chance to unseat him. No single policymaker or administration deserves blame for creating or at least tolerating a monster. Many of their decisions seemed reasonable at the time. Even so, there are moments of this clumsy dance with the devil that make one cringe. It's hard to believe that during most of the 80s, America knowingly permitted the Iraq Atomic Energy Commission to import bacterial cultures that might be used to build biological weapons, but it happened. America's past stumbles, while embarrassing, are not an argument for inaction in the future. Saddam probably is the grave and gathering danger described by President Bush in his speech to the UN last week. It may also be true that whoever replaces Saddam is not going to be worse, as a senior administration official put it to Newsweek. But the story of how America helped create a Frankenstein monster and now wishes to strangle is sobering. It illustrates the power of wishful thinking as well as the iron law of unintended consequences. America didn't put Saddam in power. He emerged after 2 decades of turmoil in the 60s and 70s as various strongmen tried to gain control of a nation that had been concocted by British imperialists in the 20s out of 3 distinct and rival factions, the Sunnis, the Shiites, and the Kurds. But during the Cold War, America competed with the Soviets for Saddam's attention and welcomed his war with the religious fanatics of Iran. Having cozied up to Saddam, Washington found it hard to break away, even after going to war with him in 1991. Through years of both tacit and overall support and covert support, the West helped create the Saddam of today, giving him time to build deadly arsenals and dominate his people. Successive administrations always worried that if Saddam fell, chaos would follow, rippling through the region, possibly igniting another Middle East war. At times it seemed that Washington was transfixed by Saddam. Can we put like a pause there?
Okay.
Because there's another page here I want to read. This is the front cover story in Newsweek, how we created Saddam and Gomorrah. 1026, boy, look at that poll, 229 votes. Should Neil start taking calls on his show again? Yes, but only a few, 70. Yes, please, 65. Maybe one day a week, 33. Makes no difference to me, 32. That's at 14% they love us. If he does, I'll blow my brains out, 16. And absolutely not pleased, 13. Hey, with your busy lifestyle, you need all the energy you can to feel healthy, and there's a product out there that'll give you energy and make you feel better, and that's Oleomed. Oleomed contains pharmaceutical-grade olive oil along with all kinds of other good stuff. In each capsule, there are vitamins in there, there are minerals in there, there are herbals in there, which promote health for your heart. There's a separate product for your blood pressure, one designed to lower your cholesterol, and one for your prostate, all in a little soft gel capsule you just pop right in your puss. Oleomed's also got supplements to promote health in your circulatory system, your digestive endocrine system, your skin, your bones, even your mind, all using the benefits of the finest olive oil that money can buy. And like I always tell you, Oleomed makes products for men and some specifically designed for you ladies, too. Oleomed's an outstanding product that's helped thousands of men and women all over South Florida, help them stay in good health, and you can pick it up today all over town. You pick it up at Whole Food Markets, Walgreens, Sedano's, and Navarro Pharmacies. To get more information about Oleomed, call their toll-free number, 1-866-OLEOMED. That's 1-866-OLEOMED, which you can also write on their website if you like at oleomedamerica.com.
Live and local. We're Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Big, Neil. It's bigger than both of us.
This is just the beginning. Yeah. I mean, I want to tell you something. I envy you a lot.
Speaking of envy, you are in remarkable shape.
Oh, yeah.
What do you do? Do you have a regimen? Are you one of those who has...
No, I do. I work out every chance I get.
Yeah.
But I do manage to get over there to the gym 3 times a week at least.
Man, you're...
So, how long?
Wait a minute.
That got your attention, huh, St. Jack? St. Jack was giving him a what?
Huge.
I love him, you know, and I've always gotten into that.
So I can understand that when things are popping, you grab them.
Right.
As do so many...
Let's talk for a minute about 69. Go for it or not.
What a position to be in.
Well, what about every night? Do you want it?
Exactly. You notice how Regis is into a new thing now. All he talks about is penises.
It's good
Tom
for
Welling
ratings.
this morning was talking about his big feet and his big zucchini or whatever the hell it was. Regis is into penises now, boys and girls. I think it's that Kelly Ripa finally turned him around, so to speak.
Good.
Anyway, getting back to this Newsweek article, it says the Bush administration wants to finally break the spell. If the administration's true believers are right, Baghdad after Saddam falls will look something like Paris after the Germans fled in August of 44. American troops will be cheered as liberators, and democracy will spread forth and push Middle Eastern despotism back into the shadows. Yet if the gloomy predictions of the administration's many critics come true, the Arab street, inflamed by Yankee imperialism, will rise up and replace the shaky but friendly autocrats in the region with Islamic fanatics. While the Middle East is unlikely to become a democratic nirvana, the worst-case scenarios, always a staple of the press, are probably also wrong or exaggerated. Assuming that a cornered and doomed Saddam does not kill thousands of Americans in some kind of horrific act, a scary possibility, one that deeply worries administration officials, the greatest risk of his fall is that one strong man may simply be replaced by another. Saddam's successor may not be a paranoid sadist, but there is no assurance that he'll be America's friend or forswear the development of weapons of mass destruction. American officials have known that Saddam was a psychopath ever since he became the country's de facto ruler in the early 70s. One of Saddam's early acts after he took title of president in 79 was to videotape a session of his party's Congress during which he personally ordered several members executed on the spot. The message, carefully conveyed to the Arab press, was not that these men were executed for plotting against Saddam, but rather for thinking about plotting against him. From the beginning, U.S. officials worried about Saddam's taste for nasty weaponry. Indeed, at their meeting in 1983, Rumsfeld warned that Saddam's use of chemical weapons might inhibit American assistance. It might inhibit it. But top officials in the Reagan administration saw Saddam as a useful surrogate. By going to war with Iran, he could bleed the radical mullahs who had seized control of Iran from the pro-American Shah. Some Reagan officials even saw Saddam as another Anwar Sadat, capable of making Iraq into a modern secular state, just as Sadat had tried to do in Egypt before his assassination in 81. But Saddam had to be rescued first. The war against Iran was going badly by 1982. Iran's human wave attacks threatened to overrun Saddam's armies. Washington decided to give Iraq a helping hand. After Rumsfeld's visit to Baghdad in 1983, U.S. intelligence began supplying the Iraqi dictator with satellite photos showing Iranian deployments. Official documents suggest that America may have also secretly arranged for tanks and other military hardware to be shipped to Iraq in a swap deal, American tanks to Egypt, Egyptian tanks to Iraq. Over the protest of some Pentagon skeptics, the Reagan administration began allowing the Iraqis to buy a wide variety of dual-use equipment and materials from American suppliers. According to confidential Commerce Department export control documents obtained by Newsweek, the shopping list included a computerized database for Saddam's Interior Ministry, presumably to help keep track of political opponents, helicopters to transport Iraqi officials, television cameras for video surveillance applications, chemical analysis equipment for the Iraq Atomic Energy Commission, and most unsettling, numerous shipments of bacteria, fungi, protozoa to the IAEC. According to former officials, the bacteria cultures could be used to make biological weapons, including, are you ready for it?
Ready.
I wasn't, though, including
Anthrax.
The State Department also approved the shipment of 1.5 million atropine injections for use against the effects of chemical weapons, but the Pentagon blocked the sale. The helicopters, some American officials later surmised, were used to spray poison gas on the Kurds. How do you like that? So we sold them the helicopters that they used to spray poison gas on the Kurds, and now that we wring our hands about. The U.S. almost certainly knew from its own satellite imagery that Saddam was using chemical weapons against Iranian troops when Saddam bombed Kurdish rebels and civilians with a lethal cocktail of mustard gas, sarin, tabun, and VX in 1988. The Reagan administration first blamed Iran before acknowledging under pressure from congressional Democrats that the culprits were Saddam's own forces. There was only token official protest at the time. Saddam's men were unfazed. An Iraqi audio tape later captured by the Kurds records Saddam's cousin, known as Ali Chemical, talking to his fellow officers about gassing the Kurds. Who's going to say anything, he asked. The international community? F them, he says. The United States, yeah, F them. Zimbalist Jr. The U.S. was much more concerned with protecting Iraqi oil from attacks by Iran as it was shipped through the Persian Gulf. In 1987, an Iraqi Exocet missile hit an American destroyer, the USS Stark, in the Persian Gulf, killing 37 crewmen. Incredibly, the United States excused Iraq for making an unintentional mistake and instead used the incident to accuse Iran of escalating the war in the Gulf. The American tilt to Iraq became more pronounced. U.S. commandos began blowing up Iranian oil platforms and attacking Iranian patrol boats. In 1988, an American warship in the Gulf accidentally shot down an Iranian Airbus, killing 290 civilians. Within a few weeks, Iran, exhausted and fearing American intervention, gave up its war with Iraq. Saddam was feeling cocky. With the support of the West, he had defeated the Islamic revolutionaries in Iran. America favored him as a regional pillar. European and American corporations were vying for contracts with Iraq. He was visited by congressional delegations led by Senators Bob Dole of Kansas and Alan Simpson of Wyoming, who were eager to promote American farm and business interests. But Saddam's megalomania was on the rise, and he overplayed his hand. In 1990, a U.S. Customs sting operation snared several Iraqi agents who were trying to buy electronic equipment used to make triggers for nuclear bombs. Not long after, Saddam gained the world's attention by threatening to burn Israel to the ground. At the Pentagon, analysts began to warn that Saddam was a growing menace, especially after he tried to buy some American-made high-tech furnaces used for making nuclear bomb parts. Yet other officials in Congress and the Bush administration continued to see him as useful, if distasteful, regional strongman. The State Department was equivocating with Saddam right up to the moment he invaded Kuwait in August of 1990. How do you like them apples, huh?
I don't like them.
Read it all in Newsweek this week. Oh, there's El Presidente.
Organization which is
I know, I had to change
debating
it.
society.
Wow. My lunch is coming up, and I haven't even eaten any yet. 256 votes on our poll. Heavy-duty response. Very emotional. Should Neil be taking calls on his show again now that they're going to fix our phones finally? Yes, but only a few, 84. Yes, please, 72, 27.5%. Makes no difference to me, 36. You notice how that stays right at about 14%?
Yep.
Maybe one day a week, 36. If he does, I'll blow my brains out. 18. And absolutely not 14. Compelling. Now, what is this from? This is from, where the hell did I get this article from? Well, the Sunday Observer, another Brit paper. Compelling details of how Saddam Hussein has created a massive secret weapons procurement network to rebuild his nuclear and ballistic missile programs will form the heart of Tony Blair's long-awaited dossier on the threat posed by Iraq. The dossier, to be released tomorrow, is expected to show how Saddam has accelerated his efforts to acquire banned technologies, particularly nuclear and ballistic missiles, since UN inspectors left Iraq in 1998. It will claim that Iraqi dictator is more dangerous than he was in 1998 when the last UN inspectors were forced to leave Iraq. It is also expected to show how he's masked his activities behind a series of front companies, smuggling networks, and middlemen in neighboring states, all paid for by illegal oil transactions. Although the dossier is not believed to contain a smoking gun, evidence that Saddam's already acquired the material to make a nuclear device, it will reveal his continuing vigorous efforts to do so. It is a sober assessment, said one number 10 official. See, they put stuff like 10 Downing Street. Do you think Americans know what that means, number 10?
No.
How about number 6?
Who's number 1?
On its own, it should not be, well, we'll find out at 1 o'clock, I guess. On its own, it should not be seen as justification for military action, but it makes the case about his efforts to obtain weapons of mass destruction. But Senator Bobby Byrd of West Virginia, crusty old Bobby Byrd, says President Bush's plans to invade Iraq are a conscious effort to distract public attention from growing problems at home. This administration all of a sudden wants to go to war with Iraq, Byrd said. The political polls are dropping. The domestic situation has problems. So all of a sudden we have this war talk, war fervor, the bugles of war, drums of war, clouds of war. And the market's taking another precipitous crap today, by the way. Yeah. Don't tell me that things suddenly went wrong. Back in August, the president had no plans. Then all of a sudden this country is going to war, Byrd told the Senate on Friday. Are politicians talking about the domestic situation, the stock market, weaknesses in the economy, jobs that are being lost, housing problems? No, he says.
No.
Byrd warned of another Gulf of Tonkin resolution passed on August 7, 1964. That resolution handed President Johnson broad powers to escalate the war in Vietnam, a conflict that cost 58,202 American lives and millions of Asian lives. Congress will be putting itself on the sidelines, Byrd told the Senate. Nothing would please this president more than having such a blank check handed to him. Byrd said his belief in the Constitution will prevent him from voting for Bush's war resolution, but I'm finding that the Constitution is irrelevant to people of this administration, he said. Senators Bill Nelson, Democrat of Florida, and Hillary Clinton of New York both praised Byrd after he spoke. It is the height of patriotism to ask such hard questions, Clinton said. No one exemplifies that more than the senior senator from West Virginia. Byrd said, before the nation's committed to war, before we send our sons and daughters to battle in faraway lands, there are critical questions that need to be asked. To date, the answers from the administration have been less than satisfying, he be saying. Senator Bobby Byrd says, no, I don't think so.
Live and local. This is Sports Radio 560. QAM.
I stick motherfucking provolone in my socks at night so they smell like your sister's crotch in the morning.
Coming up tonight on Inside the Behind the True Hollywood Celebrity Music Biography Profile Story. We take a good, hard, stiff look into stardom. Bananarama. Here in America, they had nothing more than a minor impact with their songs Cruel Summer and Venus. But in Britain, they had 23 top 40 singles and were named the most successful all-girl group in history. which leads to a very important question. What the hell is up with Britain?
Look, I'd really rather not talk about it.
After a Sun reporter broke a 2-decade silence about the dirty facts England was hoping to keep buried, British Ambassador to the UN, Nigel Clenchworthy, made this statement.
Vis-a-vis Bananarama, we're ashamed. We're embarrassed. Can you not just leave us in peace?
Inside the Behind took to the streets of England to find out how this smarty-pants, we're so much better than you country could be so filled with clueless losers who have no taste in music.
Excuse me. Can you talk to us about how you people thought so highly of Bananarama?
No.
Pop out of it, Nice.
No, darling. I want to talk to them. Please, tell everyone we're not all this way. I'm quite fond of the Bengals, really.
But when our camera crew went to a London pub, things got ugly.
Excuse me, gentlemen. Care to apologize for Bananarama?
Sure, mate. Soon as you apologize for Christopher Cross.
Oh, God! You mean Styling takes me away?
Yeah.
Okay, now, hang on, guys. Hang on. No.
Well, you have to admit, Christopher Cross has left us with a lot to answer for. Oh, God. It's a big, juicy, sopping wet look at show business. Tonight, on Inside the Behind. Ugh.
Exactly. You know, that one guy in there toward the end, he kind of sounded like... You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Sounded like him.
That was the best one ever, by the way.
That was one of the all-time best, you're right.
8 sounds that you hate.
Yeah, kind of sounded like it. I might actually have to play that, you know what? Haven't played that in a very, very long time. 10:47 at 5:60 WQM. We got the Mad Dog coming at 1. The FEC, the Federal Election Commission, disclosed Friday it's imposed a record-setting $719,000 in fines against participants in the 1996 Democratic Party fundraising scandals involving contributions from China, Korea, and other foreign sources. The FEC documents describe Democratic fundraisers who set specific prices for foreign nationals to make illegal campaign contributions in return for meetings with then-President Clinton and Vice President Gore. A Democratic finance vice chair, for example, said organizers would have to contribute $100,000 in return for Gore's appearance at a Buddhist temple in L.A. Those penalized include the Democratic National Committee, the Clinton-Gore campaign, the Buddhist temple, and nearly 24 people and corporations acting as conduits for illegal contributions. All have agreed to pay according to the documents. Acting as conduits. How's he doing, by the way?
Won't see him no more.
Did we ever hear any more about that?
Nope.
Isn't that amazing how stories, you know, their shelf life just,
Yeah, what's that got to do with the war with Iraq?
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. Or that bitch, that Irish traveling bitch, that do-gooder. The total in fines would have been significantly higher, except that some of the corporations have folded, and others were dummy corporations with no assets to set up as conduits for money from China, Venezuela, Canada, and other countries. Canada, eh? Foreign individuals and organizations are barred from contributing to federal elections. In some cases, foreigners would have been subject to fines, couldn't be located and served with papers. In other cases, the individuals pleaded guilty in criminal cases and are bankrupt. The DNC was fined $115,000, the Clinton-Gore campaign $2,000, and the Buddhist Progress Society $120,000. In the conciliation signed by DNC lawyer Joseph Sandler, the party agreed to pay the fine and to disgorge another $128,000 to the U.S. Treasury representing illegal contributions that were not returned to donors. Disgorge. Isn't that a great word? Yeah. They're going to turn it loose. Like that. I'm disgorging it right now. I discourage that kind of talk on a show at any time. So the Beast is off the morning show, huh? You know, when he gets back from vacation, Lester, mark it on your calendar, along with next Monday's opening of the brand new Pizza Loft in Plantation. We ought to invite the Beast as a special guest on our show, you know it? Just for a couple of minutes, maybe for 2-3 hours, to tell us the real story of how it evolved into his, like, moving out of being... He sure wasn't on that show very long, was he? Huh?
Huh?
He sure wasn't on that show very long, was he?
Not long at all.
On the Mo Howard David show? I wonder what the reason is for that. Yeah, that could have been part of it. Anyway. Oh, this should tell you about our good friends, the Brits, that I'm always telling you about a bunch of silly... Have you seen this about the fox hunting thing?
No, not lately. I mean,
No?
I've known about it over the years.
Oh,
There's always
man,
a lot
they're
of
going
conscience over it. Yes.
Around, wait till you hear this, about 400,000 campaigners have taken part in a countryside rights march in London in one of Britain's biggest rallies ever. Farmers, hunters, landowners, and rural residents and workers flocked from every corner of England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland to bring London to a standstill and demand Prime Minister Tony Blair's Labour government must do more to protect their traditional way of life. Police confirmed figures by the Countryside Alliance showing 400,000 had passed the finishing point of yesterday's march by late afternoon, 7 hours after the start, with many more waiting behind. We're talking maybe 500,000. The Alliance said the Liberty and Livelihood March was part of the fight to protect the lifestyle put at risk by the government and initiatives introduced by people who don't live in or understand the countryside. They're protesting against moves to ban fox hunting and demand state help in countryside problems such as unemployment and poverty. Organizers exultantly compared the demonstration with two of British history's most famous mass protests, the Tolpuddle Martyrs March in support of 6 farm laborers sent to Australia in 1834 and the 1381 Peasants' Revolt Uprising. Today we are making history. They must listen, said the march's main organizer, James Stanford. March director James Stanford told the Press Association the march was without doubt the largest civil rights demonstration held in London in the last 150 years, The emotive issue of fox hunting, a favorite sport of British rural aristocracy for centuries but condemned as barbaric by campaigners for animal rights, was the main focus of the march. You know the kind of people who are for animal rights?
Yeah. Oh, what was that?
Where is it? See, you
here.
can do it too.
Why is that doing that?
I don't know. You know the kind of people who are for animal rights?
Peter.
It was stuck on pet names for
I'm so
genitalia.
glad that happened to you, too. I'm not the only one that happens to. Well, once in a while this thing acts up, But protesters were also marching to bring attention to many other issues, ranging from a lack of affordable housing and decent transport services to unemployment and the suffering of farmers since last year's devastating foot-and-mouth outbreak, which prompted the slaughter of millions of sheep and cattle and prompted a lot of people to be eating spotted dick 3 times a day. And toad in the hole. Oh, there's nothing worse than a toad in your rectum. Just ask Richard Gere. He'll tell you. 295 votes already on that poll, a heavy-duty response, man. They're really whipped up to a frenzy about whether we take calls on this show again. The only point being that they're whipped up in different directions, you know what?
I see.
Well, I mean, we got 29% who obviously are gung-ho for, oh, yes, please, let's get some calls on her again. But that leaves 71% who are, like, smattered in different directions, who are less than gung-ho. Yeah, take some calls, but only a few. That's in first place, 91. Then we got the 14%, it makes no difference to me, that loyal crowd out there. We love you. Whatever we do. Like that. And you know something? If you have like a sore throat or a bad cold, you can still sit here and go, that just dawned on me.
You could loop that.
And you can also, there are other things you can loop like, that would be, could play that for 4 hours. Have people crapping in their pants all over town, all over the station. Rumor has it, by the way, that bit is number 1 with 16 bullets. That's the rumor I'm hearing. And that the beast got muscled out. Let's see, maybe one day a week, 40. So these other ones, I mean, yes, only a few and maybe one day a week. That's not exactly like an overwhelming enthusiastic support for calls. You see what I'm saying?
I see it.
If he does, I'll blow my brains out, 19, 6%. And, of course, the last one there, where is it? Absolutely not, please, 18. So you got like 12.5% who are adamant they don't want any calls under any circumstances. You got our almost 14% who say, no matter what you do, like that, we'll listen. We don't care. We're easy. And then you got that nearly 30% who say, we want the goddamn calls. Of course, we don't know who those 30% are. You follow what I'm saying? Yeah. We don't know exactly who they are. Here's this article, a column by Bob Herbert in today's New York Times. This is, wait till you hear this. High-altitude Rambos. Dr. Bob Rajkumar, a U.S. citizen and former military physician from Lake Worth, Florida, found himself handcuffed and taken into custody last month in one of the many episodes of hysteria to erupt on board airliners in the U.S. since the 9/11 attacks. Dr. Rajkumar was seated in first class on a Delta flight from Atlanta to Philadelphia on August 31 when a passenger in the coach section began behaving erratically. The passenger, Stephen Fuhrer, had nothing to do with Dr. Rajkumar. 2 U.S. Federal Air Marshals got up from their seats in first class and moved back to coach to confront Mr. Fuhrer, who was described by witnesses as a slight man who seemed disoriented. What ensued was terrifying. When Mr. Fuhrer refused to remain in his seat, the marshals reacted as if they were trying out for the lead roles in Hollywood's latest action extravaganza. They handcuffed Mr. Fuhrer, hustled him into first class, and restrained him in a seat next to Dr. Rajkumar. The 180 or so passengers were now quite jittery. Dr. Rajkumar asked to have his seat changed, and a flight attendant obliged, finding him another seat in first class. The incident, already scary, could and should have ended there, but the marshals weren't ready to let things quiet down. One of the marshals pulled a gun and brandished it at the passengers. The marshals loudly demanded that all passengers remain in their seats and remain still. They barked a series of orders. No one should stand for any reason. Arms and legs should not extend into the aisles. No one should try to visit the restroom. The message couldn't have been clearer. Anyone who disobeyed the marshals was in danger of being shot. The passengers were petrified, with most believing that there were terrorists on the plane. I was afraid there was going to be a gun battle in that pressurized cabin, said Senior Judge James A. Lineberger of Philadelphia Court of Common Pleas, a veteran of 20 years in the military who was sitting in an aisle seat in coach. I was afraid I was going to die from the gunfire in a shootout. Dr. Rajkumar's wife, Dorothy, who was seated quite a distance from her husband, said it was really like Rambo in the air. She worried that there might be people on the plane that didn't speak English and therefore didn't understand the marshal's orders. If somebody got up to go to the bathroom, he or she might be shot. There were no terrorists on board. There was no threat of any kind. When the plane landed about a half hour later, Mr. Fuhrer was taken into custody, and then, shockingly, so was Dr. Rajkumar. The air marshals grabbed the doctor from behind, handcuffed him, and for no good reason that anyone's been able to give, hauled him to an airport police station where he was thrown into a filthy cell. This was airline security gone berserk. No one ever suggested that Dr. Rajkumar, a straight-arrow retired Army major, done anything wrong. Dr. Rajkumar, who's of Indian descent, said he believes he was taken into custody solely because of his brown skin. He was held for 3 frightening hours and then released without being charged. Mr. Fuhrer was also released. Officials tried to conceal names of the marshals, but they eventually were identified by a Philadelphia Inquirer reporter as Sean B. McCullers and Samuel Muma of the Transportation Security Administration, which is part of the U.S. Transportation Department. The TSA has declined to discuss the incident in detail. A spokesman offered the absurd explanation that Dr. Rajkumar was detained because he had watched the unfolding incident too closely.
Huh?
If that becomes a criterion for arrest in the U.S., a lot of us reporters are headed for jail, writes Bob Herbert. Dr. Rajkumar told me yesterday he remained shaken by the episode. I had never been treated like that in my life. He said, I was afraid I was about to be beaten up or killed. Lawyers for the ACLU have taken up his case. He's filed notice that he may sue the federal government for unlawful detention. We have to take a look at what we're doing in the name of security, said Dr. Rajkumar. So many men and women have fought and died for freedom in this great country. Now we're in danger of ruining that in the name of security. Unbelievable. A scary, scary story. I'll tell you a very scary guy, not just Luca Brasi, that's Tom Lehman. You ever see Tom?
No. Yes,
he's a very scary guy, and he's a good guy. He's okay. He's, fair. Anyway, Tom Lehman and Hallett Pontiac GMC, they've got you great deals waiting again like they always do. 0% financing continues right now as I speak. That's correct with approved credit from GMAC. You can get 0% financing up to 36 months on all brand new 2000 Pontiacs and GMC models. They're in right now. They're in stock. Or take a rebate of up to $4,000 all 2002 Pontiacs or GMC models in stock. And I wouldn't be too surprised if Bob Eisenberg ever gets us a new copy. We'll be hearing about those new 2003s, you know what? Maybe, or maybe not. Check out the complete line of GMC SUVs while you're there, including the Envoy, and of course the all-new Pontiac Vibe SUV that's got the power of a big fancy schmancy expensive sports car. Not quite like a Corvette, but it's getting there. Hallett's also got the great selection of dependable pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs you've always come to know that they got. And of course, as far as credit is concerned, it's not a big hassle when you do car shopping at Hallett Pontiac, because even if you're a deadbeat, even if you know Greg Reed, if he wants to bet it down with Screw Ann, no problem at Hallett Pontiac, they'll cut your deal. So for a sensational, unbeatable deal on Pontiacs and GMCs, this is the place where people have been treated great for over 35 years. Hallett Pontiac GMC, you'll find them at 13401 South Dixie Highway. That's US 1, right across from the Falls, open every day of your life, 7 days a week. For more info, call, and be sure and tell Tom Lehman I said he was a scary guy. 238-4040. That's 305-238-4040 for Hallett Pontiac GMC, who do be professional grade.
Live and local. This is Sports Radio 560. QAM.
Congress ain't high on the Bush plan now. Our allies give it thumbs down now. Oh, but the president is waiting for that okay. And they say Georgie W's impatient. Don't want the U.S. to wait. He wants bomb-free launch by tomorrow. Then watch as Iraq disintegrates.
11:04 at 560 WQM. Happy Monday to you. Bush gets apology for Hitler remark. German Chancellor Bush gets apology for Hitler remark. Don't you remember that story we had on Friday?
Oh, that's right.
About that bitch? German Chancellor Gerhard Schroeder apologized in a letter to President Bush Friday for the offense caused by reports that his Justice Minister had compared Bush's methods to Hitler's. Justice Minister Herta Dauberg-Mellon earlier denied a report in a regional newspaper that she told a pre-election gathering that by threatening to attack Iraq, Bush wanted to distract from his domestic political problems as Hitler had. Schroeder told Bush, "I want to let you know how much I regret the fact that alleged comments by the German Justice Minister have given an impression that has offended you." Although I think she may have had a point. No, he didn't say that. He said he'd accepted Dauberg-Mellon's denial, added, according to a German text provided by his office, "Let me assure you that there is no place at my cabinet table for anyone who makes a connection between the American president and such a criminal." Germany's role in the war in Iraq and its standing as one of America's key European allies had become a point of contention between Schroeder and his conservative challenger, Edmund Stoiber, in their neck-and-neck election race. But it's bad news for Bush because Schroeder won in the closest election in German history. He won it over the weekend. Bad news for the Bushmeister. Spokane Bishop next in line to head Bishops' Conference at Center of Abuse Crisis. You know something? I'm getting chills just now. I'm not talking about the chills from whatever I had yesterday. I'm getting chills thinking about that trend coming out at 1 o'clock. This is like a turning point. I mean, granted, it's only 2/3 of the summer book. But it's June, July, and August. And, of course, we can't break it down and get the hour by hours, which is even more important now than ever before, now that we got, like, all these times since the beginning of the year have been switched around.
Mixed in on each end.
I mean, used to be, the 10 to 3 number, that was pretty much our number, when you're doing 10 to 2. But now we're, like, slopped over in a little bit of morning drive, which we're not too crazy about being lumped in with that. But nevertheless, and then we got the Mad Dog in his 2 hours. So it's but nevertheless, you still get kind of an idea. Now, what are we lopping off here? Which month are we lopping off? May?
Yeah, May.
Yeah, May is going, because it was May, June, July. We're lopping off May. Now, how was May? May was not that great.
Not that great.
No. May, how do you know that?
Because we had a big month before that.
April. April was huge.
April was huge.
May was, and then June came back quite a bit. May was, of course, I was on vacation in May. I just mentioned that in passing. Is that a knock at George? Yeah. No, it's not. That's not a knock at George. There have been plenty of months when I've been away and you were on and we still didn't do good. But, huh? Hey, listen, if you could keep the entire audience, what the hell would they be paying me this kind of money for, right? When they're paying you $5 an hour and you can't collect anyway. Did you ever get your thing, by the way, your slip?
No.
Well, you probably would wear it if you had it.
I'd wear it on my head.
Yeah. You never got your thing?
No, I haven't got slipped yet.
Well, why not? I thought you people on direct deposit got your little thing like 5 days before payday. I sure hope that now that I'm getting a little bit nervous about this. Now that we have 2 program directors, an operations manager, a consultant, and whoever, we got about 75 people doing a job that Muff used to do all by herself. I'm getting a little bit worried about that. I got no complaints because my paychecks have been showing up most of the summer a day early. Let's hear it. Oh! Love that Clarence. Always liked Clarence a lot. Not that he's, he's keeping them on top of it. He's after them. He's got the old whip out. Spokane Bishop next in line to head Bishops' Conference at the Center of Abuse Crisis. George wants his slip, okay? He wants to know if he's got his bonus money on there or not. That's going to be over. That is, as we speak now, is overdue again. Well, this is the bonus from what? Last year's fall book?
Right.
This is the bonus from the 91 book? No, seriously, this is just, it's the Beasley effing way, man. And like Bob Vermouth said, there are a bunch of mugwumps that crawled out of the slime somewhere. He said you can check their family tree and you'll find most of them sitting in it. That's what he said. He said, don't repeat this, and of course I wouldn't. But those freaking Beasleys are a bunch of yahoos is what he said, something like that, a bunch of nose pickers. Bishop William Skalstad of Spokane was among a group of Roman Catholic leaders who traveled to Rome in April to brief the Pope on the child sex abuse scandal rocking the U.S. Church. Oh, by the way, speaking of the Pope, guess who was on Biography Channel yesterday?
The Pope?
No. But a guy who played Pope.
Ed Pope?
No. Somebody who played one of the popes in a movie. Raymond Burr.
You're gay.
Yeah. And I gotta, of course, now that he's dead, see, everybody is gay when they're dead. Nobody's ever gay when they're alive. Right. Don't
they
you know
might
what
be
I'm
gay,
saying?
but they're not very festive.
Right. But when you're dead, then you can be gay and happy and gay and gay and gay and gay. But anyway, the Raymond Burr thing they had, because I had seen that like months ago, and I told you about that, and you were like a little bit skeptical. They actually showed his companion on there, his companion in 35 years.
Yeah, how'd he look?
Like an old guy. No, actually, they showed pictures from long before, and actually he looked pretty good, to be honest with you. Raymond Burr was, it all depends. But nevertheless, we love Raymond Burr, don't we? Didn't we love Perry Mason and Ironside?
Sure.
Oh, that's right. You don't like cop shows. Sorry.
Yeah, but Perry Mason was all right.
Really?
Oh, it was a lawyer show.
I see. 5 months later, Skalsted's leadership is in question after revelations that a former priest in the Spokane diocese with ties to Skalsted had a long history of abusing boys. This is the guy they sent to Rome in April for this big confab, and comes to find out that people under him, so to speak, are like got their finger in it. An attorney for the boys says Skalstad and his predecessor bishops failed to protect children from the Reverend Patrick G. O'Donnell in the 70s and 80s. Skalstad was a priest in Spokane during some of that time, but wasn't elevated to bishop until 1990 after O'Donnell had left. No relation to Bill O'Donnell, the magic man. However, O'Donnell had worked with Skalstad as associate pastor at Assumption Parish in Spokane, and the two priests had shared living quarters in 1974 to 76. Mike Saftik. He knew children were being abused, and he said nothing, said attorney Tim Kosnov, who's preparing to file a lawsuit against O'Donnell and the Spokane diocese. A person who's exhibited such poor judgment in the past can't be trusted to lead the church in any capacity out of this morass it's in. And if there's one thing they want, it's more ass. Make no mistake about that. Young boy ass is what they want. 9, 10, 11 years old, that's what they want. Lots and lots of that young
rectum
ass. Oh, and guess who died?
I give up.
Now, you're going to see, don't make nasty comments about this, because this was a good guy. Even though we don't necessarily like his product that much anymore.
Oh, the Dunkin' Donuts guy.
Yeah. Did you know that already?
Somebody sent it over in a fax. I didn't think you'd care.
Hey, listen, we care when people die, okay? Especially somebody of some note. There are a lot of people in this audience who like Dunkin' Donuts. Not everybody's got good taste.
If it had been a Krispy Kreme guy, then I would have faxed it right over.
Not everybody's got good taste. I mean, we did like Dunkin' Donuts when those guys used to come all the way down from Boca and bring us those Friday morning breakfasts until Defoe pissed them off. And you know something? As much as we like Defoe and we'd love to have him back and Joe and all these the fact of the matter is just for that, we forget about the Mikasukis and all that money under the table. The fact of the matter is once he pissed off the people at Dunkin' Donuts in Boca, that was the end of him.
All right, that was the beginning of the end, right?
Well, don't you agree?
Sure, it was.
If for no other reason, the fact that he took away our great friend, that small stack, whatever the hell they used to call it. Right?
Right.
That was good stuff. Okay, we'll get to this in a second. God, and I haven't even got to any of our tabloid stuff yet, man. We got some heavy-duty crap about Britney that you're not going to be too happy about.
I know, you teased.
And about Dr. Phil that you'll be ecstatic about. Not one, but two big stories about Dr. Phil that he isn't going to be thrilled about. Don't forget, it's Monday Night Football tonight with Joe and Mark at Gatsby's in Boca. Stop by from 9 to 11 tonight to win prizes, our usual crappy, very low-budget QAM prizes because we have no promotional budget. And enjoy specials on Crown Royal. I bet you Miguel will be there.
Yes.
Because since we have specials on Crown Royal. Rams and the Bucks at Gatsby's in Boca tonight. Rams who are 0-2. Oh, my God. How can that be, huh? How about those Patriots?
Rectum.
Oh, man, I'll tell you, I was sweating bullets in that game, and I just knew they were going to blow that lead there in the fourth quarter. I knew it. Twice they had a 2-touchdown lead, and they blew it, and then they went in overtime. Nice goal, Adam Vinatieri.
Oh!
Attaboy. He ain't too bad either, by the way, Adam. Take your clothes off, Adam. 12 minutes. And I'll tell you one thing. Let's see. They were playing Trent Green. You know Trent Green?
No.
Quarterback for Kansas City. Trent Green, that kid for Houston. What's his name? David with the funny nose. And, of course, Tommy Brady. We got three of the best-looking quarterbacks ever to play the game since Vince Ferragamo this year. I'll tell you that. For all you fags and ladies out there, there's a reason for the women to start watching football. We got some real studs at quarterback. Hey, by now, speaking of studs, and as soon as I say stud, I think of Todd Dreck. Little stud, you know, like little tiny stud, somebody you'd like to step on and squash like a frickin' ant. By now, there's no doubt that everybody and their brothers heard about the incredible earning potential of people in the computer business. Computer professionals are making some serious bucks, and if you'd like to do it too, why not become a certified computer professional by talking to our friends at Fast Train? They'll tell you how to do it. So do yourself a humongous favor. Pick up that instrument or your phone right now and call Fast Train toll-free at 1-866-FAST-TRAIN. You can complete your program, get certified in just 4 short months, and be on your way to a new, higher-paying career. Fast Train's got 4 convenient locations in Dade, Broward. We know that there's one in Pembroke Pines, there's that new one in Kendall, and maybe Todd Rex someday will tell us where the other 2 are, but for the moment it's a secret. Fast Train has got convenient day, evening, and weekend classes to fit your schedule. They've got full-time job placement department with over 30 years' experience in getting people placed. So if you want to start making some serious bucks, guys, if you're tired of working for nothing, Pick up that phone and call our good friends at Fast Train, 866 Fast Train. In just 4 short months, you can be on your way to a great new computer professional career. 1-866 Fast Train, or check them out on the web at fasttrain.com.
Live and local. This is 560. The radio's all yours now. QAM.
Pulling more bits out from our assholes.
Let's go.
Sportsback Radio WQAM.
Guess who's back? Back again. Earl is back. Hell, you can.
Yes, he's back. Billy Bob Earl Evans III is back with his 3rd album this year. Hubcaps and Flapjacks, an introspective look at the life of BBE3.
What the hell's an introspect? Is that a bug?
Featuring the ballad Underneath My Drawers.
Underneath my drawers is my home wrecker. It hangs to the floor. It's my big old pet.
And also a true story called Just Like That.
Thought I'd let you know I caught my oldest boy masturbating. I saw the way he was thinking, so I said, son, use lubrication.
And don't forget the first release off the new album.
This song is very near and dear to my heart. It's called Heaven. 2 trailer park girls roll round the outside, round the outside, round the outside.
Hubcaps and Flapjacks, the latest CD from Billy Bob Earl Evans III. Go buy yours today, or at least try to borrow it from someone who may have it, but we seriously doubt that.
Yeah, so do I. Hey, that M&M sure as hell put him to shame. Hey, the market's taking a really gigantic. Are you aware of that?
Yeah, I see that. Another big
The Dow's
dump.
down 173, the Nasdaq's down 33 points, but the good news is Sun Microsystems is up 6 cents.
Hey.
294. That's up 6 cents. $2.94. Not 294, $2.94. Oracle, $7. I just mentioned this in passing. So let's have a good war. What do you say? So everybody forgets about this stuff. Dunkin' Donuts founder dies. There are a lot of people like Dunkin' Donuts. You better watch what you say, mister, even though I agree with you. Krispy Kreme's like light years ahead.
They have great coffee.
Who does?
Dunkin' Donuts.
And they got great short stacks. Millions of people this morning are offering a tribute of sorts to William Rosenberg with powdered sugar on their fingers and a caffeine buzz on the brain. Mr. Rosenberg, a Boca resident who founded Dunkin' Donuts a half-century ago, died Friday at the age of 86. He spent nearly half his life overcoming various cancers before succumbing to bladder cancer in his native Massachusetts. Mr. Rosenberg first married coffee and pastry at a donut shop in 1948 and was to pastry what Ray Kroc was to hamburgers and Colonel Sanders was to fried chicken. His Big Mac was a simple but tasty donut with a handle, making it easier to dunk. Did you know they had a Big Mac at Dunkin' Donuts?
No.
I never heard of that.
I've seen those things before. I didn't know that's what they were called.
A donut with a handle?
Yeah, it's just not much of a handle.
He was a father of franchising who left behind an inspiring success story, the world's largest coffee and baked goods chain, and a sugary mark on the mornings of millions worldwide. Here's an example I can follow and teach my kids of how you can be a success in life, said Sultan Siddiqui, owner of a Dunkin' Donuts franchise in West Palm. In his office at the Dunkin' Donuts at 3501 South Dixie Highway, Siddiqui has a picture of himself and his wife Zia with Mr. Rosenberg along with a marked-up copy of the Donuts Magnet's biography, Time to Make the Donuts. It's quite a life story, Siddiqui said. Born in 1916 in Boston, Mr. Rosenberg cut his entrepreneurial teeth as a teenager during the Great Depression, carting a block of ice to a racetrack on a hot summer day and selling ice chips at 10 cents apiece. Legend has it that he bought home an astounding $171. That's 1916. That's a lot of money.
Yeah,
in 1946, with an 8th grade education and $5,000, he began delivering meals and coffee truck break snacks to factory workers. He pioneered the canteen truck, a flip-open stainless steel truck to deliver his food.
The Roach Coach.
Right. He soon discovered that 40% of his business came from coffee and donuts, so in 1948, he opened a pastry shop, a shop in Quincy, Mass. Called Open Kettle, charging a nickel per pastry, a dime per cup. In 1950, he changed the name to Dunkin' Donuts. While most donut shops sold 4 varieties, Mr. Rosenberg offered 52. In 1955, he signed his first franchise agreement with a store owner in Worcester, Mass., who was his start as leader of the franchise movement. He helped found the International Franchise Association in 1959. He was hailed as a visionary by Success Magazine and the father of franchising as we know it today by Nation's Restaurant News. He had a passion for quality that he instilled in his organization and franchisees, said Jack Schaefer, chief executive of Dunkin' Donuts, Baskin-Robbins, and Togo's. Mr. Rosenberg's son, Robert, became Dunkin' Donuts CEO in 1963, the same year the chain grew to 100 stores. The first overseas shop opened in Japan in 1970. Today they have more than 5,000 stores in 38 countries, and they serve more than 2 million customers daily. Mr. Rosenberg had a long history of overcoming illness, 18 operations, 3 hip replacements, and at least 4 types of cancer. Wow. Throughout his cancer bouts, he donated millions of dollars to the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute in Boston. He was a force in harness racing, operating the #1 stable in New England, Wilrose Farm in New Hampshire. How do you like that, huh?
I had no idea, did you?
Tug Boyd. I didn't know that. Mr. Rosenberg lived in Palm Beach County for about 25 years. The family spokesman said he sold his oceanfront Delray Beach home within the past year and has moved to Boca Raton. He was receiving cancer treatment at Dana-Farber when he died on Cape Cod. We're sure going to miss Dunkin' Donuts. Well, they're not going anywhere. Going to miss him. Well, he was big in harness racing, so we must like him a lot. I do. Bush announced his support for independent inquiry into September 11 terrorist attacks. Reversing course, President Bush said Friday he now supports establishing an independent commission to investigate the 9/11 terrorist attacks. Momentum for such a commission. Did you see the thing where they had the FBI agent testifying behind the screen?
Yes.
Momentum for such a commission has grown in recent months. The House has already voted to approve a commission as part of its intelligence authorization bill. But the White House had opposed an independent commission, citing concerns about possible leaks and tying up officials involved in the fight against terrorism. In a letter to Capitol Hill, the president's congressional liaison said Bush wanted to focus immediately after 9/11 on preventing future attacks and reconstructing government agencies, restructuring them rather to meet the new threats. With that effort now underway and congressional hearings into the attacks well along, the administration thought it was time to get behind the creation of a commission, plus, of course, public opinion. Now that the work of the Intelligence Committees is nearing its end, we must take the appropriate next steps, the letter said. The White House said that now, before it had been concerned that an additional inquiry or commission of the attacks would be duplicative and divert the attention and resources of both Congress and relevant executive agencies away from their important work combating terrorism, and yada, yada, yada. Yeah, they had the FBI agent testifying behind the screen so as not to give away the identity. In tears at one point, they said.
Right.
In tears. And why did he cry? Why did he weep?
Fine.
Look at that. There's what's her name again?
Also.
Gee, we only saw the build-up there. You think that CNN has shown that thing of that bitch, that too-good bitch, that Irish traveler bitch beating up her little girl in the car, like 4,250,000 times in the last day? God.
It's because they're concerned about the welfare of the children
It's
in America.
because they got it. That's why. It's because they got it, and it's violent, and it's provocative, and it's in poor taste, and so they'll show it over. They'll bleed it until there's not a drop left in there, man. 2 admit role in national brothel ring. A Miami madam and her partner admitted Friday to their role in a national syndicate that brokered high-priced hookers between Miami, New York, Chicago, and other major cities.
Oh!
Judy Kruger, 59, and Eli Tisch, 70, pleaded guilty to a racketeering charge in federal court in Miami and will face probable prison sentences of between... Oh, and guess what else starts October 1?
What?
The Norm Kent Show, my new lead in 8 to 9 on FTL. The Norm and Neil Show. Judy Kruger, 59, Eli Tisch, 70, pleaded guilty to a racketeering charge in federal court in Miami and will face probable prison sentences of between 1 and 2 years. Kruger and Tisch ran a brothel out of the Four Ambassadors Hotel on South Brickell Bay Drive in Miami, using local prostitutes at times, but also shuttling them in from as far away as San Francisco. Federal prosecutors say their outfit was one of many within the Circuit, an organization that provided housing, room, board, clients, drugs, and referrals for prostitutes and their wealthy clients. Kruger and Tisch were the first to plead guilty. Out of 13 people indicted in August, a third defendant, Jaron Tangle, 32 of Atlanta, who ran a New York City brothel for the Circuit, also pleaded guilty before U.S. District Judge Adalberto Jordan immediately after Kruger and Tisch entered their pleas. Neither Kruger, Tisch, nor their attorney, Michael Matters, would comment after the hearing. They are cooperating, and their information could prove damaging to other defendants, including Michael Giarango, an owner of the Lorraine Hotel in South Beach, who was the only alleged customer charged in the main case. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office, the circuit shared prostitutes among major cities in order to create a larger talent pool, keep a lower profile, and avoid detection by police, and increase profit by charging higher prices. Kruger admitted she sent prostitutes to hotels, homes, condos, and other places in South Florida. She shared call girls with circuit members in Los Angeles, San Francisco, and New York, and information with others in Boston, Vegas, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, New Orleans, New York, Phoenix, Atlanta, and Washington, D.C. Tisch took care of the business end, collecting cash from hookers and paying the rent for the $1,600 a month apartment at the Four Ambassadors. $1,600 a month. Small potatoes, man. Small pocket change when you're dealing in those kind of high-priced hookers. You should know something about that.
I do.
Schlepper like you.
Oh,
11:26 at 560 WQAM. Delights of West Boca, your official Atkins Diet retail center, reminds you that all Atkins brands products are 25% off every day. For those of you trying to lose weight the Atkins way, Delight carries the full line of Atkins Diet products as well as over 500 delicious low-carb and sugar-free foods. As reported recently in just about every part of the media, I mean newspapers, TV, radio, pop-up toasters, the Atkins Diet continues to be one of today's most popular and successful diets. Low-carb dieting is finally getting around to getting the respect it deserves because it works for a lot of people, and Delights of West Boca has been the leader in low-carb, sugar-free dieting field for years now, for a coon's age. Over 100,000 of their customers will testify there just is no better store. There is no competition. We're not just talking about one or two aisles where they have stuff for Atkins. We're talking about an entire store devoted to you. Delights will just absolutely not be undersold, and you can sample anything from their tremendous selection. You can try it before you buy it. Delight's friendly and knowledgeable staff will walk you through the store, point you in the right direction, show you where P.D. Lenny once fell down on the floor, and cheer you on as those pounds come flying off your body. Don't forget there's only one Delight's of West Boca, open every day of your life, 7 days a week till 10 p.m., and you'll find them on the northeast corner of Glades and 441 in Boca. You know who lives in Boca?
No, who?
Call, huh? Let me give you a clue. Call 1-877-LOW-CARB. That's 1-87, what?
Boca Brian.
Boca Brian, right. Or check them on the web at lowcarb.com.
Sports Radio 560 QAM.
I want to bang you in the butt, honey.
Okay.
I be BB King, and BK and BB be alright. Now, I said I be BB King, and BK and BB be alright. Yeah, I got me the diabetes, but my feet turn purple every night. That's right.
This be BB King. Burger King sure tastes fine to me. Plain broiled beef patties that fall on the floor sometimes, but they wipe them right off, serve them up fresh. And all that grease, well, that makes the shredded lettuce get stuck in my teeth. You ought to see the mouthpiece on my cell phone, y'all. Woo-wee. Sure, I know I got the diabetes, but I need the gig, man.
BK gets the jig sticky. It's got a feeling all.
11:33 at 560 WQAM. We got 388 votes on the poll. The votes are pouring in. A very emotional poll that just goes to the heart and soul of this audience. You know, don't you think so?
Of course.
No. Should Neil start taking calls on his show again? Because the engineer here in Toronto is going to get on the phone with Minnie Bob at 1 o'clock, or with somebody down there. I don't know, one of our engineering flunkies. And we're going to get the phone thing all set up again. So we could start taking. In fact, let's take one right now, shall we? Oh, that's right, we can't. No, can't take them. We could start taking them as soon as tomorrow. In fact, when those numbers come in, we're going to have those trends first thing in the morning, and it's going to be, man, pressure heavy duty. We could let people call in tomorrow and tell us why they didn't listen when George was on this summer, or why they don't listen to the morning show, or things like that. Yes, but only a few, 116. It's just under 30%. Take a few here, one here and there, you know, like a couple of good ones. All right. Yes, please take some calls again. Neil, take some calls, like that retardo guy at the track that night comes in. I have no idea who this guy is. Neil, take some calls. Well, speaking of the track, Pompano Park opens again very soon. I think live racing starts at 27, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Yes, please take those calls. 28%, 109. It makes no difference to me. 14.4% a loyal audience, man.
Oh.
They don't care. 56 people, 14.5% say, we don't care what you do. We're glued here, man. We're stuck. Maybe one day a week. 55, 14% say, yeah, maybe one day a week. See, that's not what I'd call an over-enthusiastic, you see?
No.
Like on Wednesday, we have our noon to 1 hour Wednesday where we play nothing but bits, which I like that. If he does, I'll blow my brains out 27, and absolutely not pleased 25. So it's kind of a mixed bag. Lawmakers are close to giving President Bush the congressional authorization he wants to take on Saddam Hussein, saying they will limit the mandate to Iraq to satisfy Democrats' unease about Bush's request to restore security to the whole region. On yesterday's TV talk show, Democrats also said Bush needs to more aggressively explain his plans in order to win domestic and international support for any action, which I think that Newsweek poll I mentioned earlier in the show kind of like bears that out. The administration has proposed a resolution that would authorize the president to use all means that he determines to be appropriate, including force, in order to defend the national security interest of the U.S. against the threat posed by Iraq and restore international peace and security in the region. You don't think the fact that they put the Shah in Iran in the first place, you don't think that, led to all of this?
Nah, you're just paranoid.
Oh. In other words, Mossadegh rhymes with Drek? It's much too broad. There's no limit at all on presidential power, said Senator Carl Levin, chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee. There need to be some changes. It's not even limited to Iraq, Levin, Democrat of Michigan, said on Fox News Sunday. Bush wants the UN Security Council to enforce bans on weapons of mass destruction against Iran and is rebuilding its nuclear weapons program, or is that nuclear? How does he say nuclear? Nuclear. Senator Joe Biden, chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, said keeping region in the resolution would set too broad a precedent. The administration is amenable to change, and I predict, or is that amenable? I say amenable, you say amenable, and I predict that won't be the language. Biden, Democrat of Delaware, told CNN's Late Edition with Wolf Blitzkrieg. A horrible show. White House Press Secretary Ari Fleischer, is that Minister of Information, said Monday that the language was boilerplate, borrowed from earlier UN security resolutions, and said he couldn't imagine why that wouldn't be acceptable to lawmakers, but he added, of course, we're amenable to working with Congress on the resolution. Some Republicans sympathize with the need to contain the language. These are very, very important definitions because it'll guide the president and the nation probably into war, Senator Chuck Hagel, Republican Nebraska, said on ABC's This Week, an even worse show than Wolf Blitzkrieg. They should just call it now the George Will Show. Here's George with the final comments, and then George will be back with his editorial, and George will be on with some more right-wing reactionary crap. Even those comfortable with the proposed language say they would accommodate change to speed it through. The White House wants the legislation to pass before Congress recesses before those November 5th elections. Not that this has anything to do with the elections, you understand. You do understand that?
I understand.
Good. Suspicious packages cause town to evacuate. Barnesville, Georgia. Authorities evacuated downtown Barnesville on Friday after 8 or 9 packages that appeared to be pipe bombs were found within a few blocks of each other, though the first 5 packages examined contained no explosives. The packages that contained what appeared to be pipes wrapped in duct tape with nails and wires protruding from both ends were found in a 4-block area of downtown around 8 a.m., authorities said. We haven't found live explosives or what we believe to be live explosives in any of the devices, said Rusty Andrews of the Georgia Bureau of Investigation's Bomb Squad. He wouldn't divulge how the devices were constructed, but said all of them were similar in appearance. If they're hoax devices, they certainly have been fixed up to resemble live ones, he said. No notes were found. Police said they have no leads. This is in downtown Barnesville. Did you know Barnesville had a downtown?
No, I didn't know there was a town.
Exactly. Barnesville is 50 miles south of Atlanta. 6,000 people live there, give or take. And they got a downtown, which is more than Miami or Fort Lauderdale got. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they have one, but nobody goes there.
Right. It's
certainly not at night, especially in Miami. Anybody go to downtown Miami at night?
No.
No way. Except criminals, maybe. That's kind of what separates Miami and Fort Lauderdale from, being real cities. I don't want to go into a big, thing on that again. We got a real downtown here in Toronto, eh? A real one. And there's the Eaton Center down there. I think I'm going to go down there and get me a jacket. You know what, today? Because I got a winter jacket here, and I got a real light jacket, like a, what would you call it? Real light.
Like a windbreaker kind of thing?
Not even that, like a featherweight.
Okay.
But I don't have a red, so I'm going to go, I could wear my Maple Leafs jacket, but I don't think so, not this season. I don't want to be seen in public wearing that.
You're going to go get a leather jacket?
No, I got a leather jacket. A leather jacket is not a fall jacket. A leather jacket's a winter jacket.
It depends on where you're at during the fall.
I beg your pardon?
It depends on where you are during fall.
I'm not going to fall again.
Are you sure?
I know where I was at during that other fall. Right there in the red light district. Oh! Let's hear it, baby. Oh, seriously, I got to go get me a jacket at the Eaton Center today. Sounds good to me. Kind of like a medium, like intermediate, you know what I'm saying? Because one thing about here, even though we've had Indian summer, I noticed that when summertime ends up north and when Indian summer ends, it ends real abrupt like this coming weekend. It's supposed to be colder than a witch's behind. Like I think one of the days on the weekend, the high is going to be 10, which is 50. That's going to be the high, baby. Woo! 408 votes on that poll. Keep them coming, folks. Keep them pouring in. Get emotional about it. Because this is a big, big day in QAM history today. Maybe a lot of people aren't perceptive enough to realize that, but being an old fart who's been around the block a couple of times, I understand that today is a momentous day. Don't you think?
Nah.
I don't either. 20 till noon at but it sounds good. 20 till noon at QAM. New Balance. See, you're just saying that to cover your ass. Because if you have a real bad trend, you say, it's only a trend. We got another month to go on.
We got another month to go.
Yeah, plus, of course, the other month will be like Neil's back, when it gets to be July, August, and September.
Well, we can extrapolate at that point.
New Balance of South Florida covers all your athletic and footwear needs. Man, I love my New Balance shoes. Like I said, I haven't fallen down once wearing those things. They're so comfortable, you don't even know you have shoes on. They remind me of my glasses. My little glasses, now the featherweight ones?
Right, the ones you can't even see.
The ones a lot of times I think I got them on and I don't, or the other way around because they're so light. And the same thing with my New Balance shoes. They're so comfortable and they're so, great that you feel like you're walking on air, so to speak. And, of course, in my case, maybe I am. If you need new athletic shoes for cross-training, cross-dressing, running, walking, weightlifting, or other weekend warrior activities, or weekday warrior, whatever, doing whatever, New Balance of South Florida's got you covered. New Balance continues doing what they've been doing forever, and they'll never stop doing it, because when you go in that door, they want to take a look at it and measure it. They want to grab a hold of it, measure how long it is and how wide it is, and your foot, too, to make sure you get a perfect fit every time. And they got from infants all the way up to size 20. Even Tom Welling could get a great pair of New Balance shoes. No sweat, Tommy. Come on in. Come on down. New Balance has got style, sizes, and widths of shoes you can only find before in catalogs or by mail order. They're your one-stop shop, and for any reason of the world, if they don't have what you're looking for in your size, they'll special order it for you, no extra charge. You'll be wearing them on your ugly feet in no time at all. Speaking of ugly feet, how's that kid from Whammy? Make a run to New Balance of South Florida. They're in the Aventura Mall, Pinecrest, Boca Town Center, and coming in November to their brand-new location in Palm Beach Gardens. Oh! If your feet could thank you, they would for schlepping them over to New Balance.
Live and local. This is Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Fans beginning to boo the play selection.
Help! My ass is on fire!
Step away from the couch!
I should have used Preparation H.
Preparation H, medicated wipes, the easy way to cleanse, cool, and soothe.
Rectum. 11:45, 15 till noon at 560 WQM. We got Jim Maddich at 1. Then Hank, I guess, the humper isn't going to be back from wherever his assignment was yesterday covering the NFL. So we got, at 3. Do I dare say it?
Joe Zagacki.
Yeah. From Shula's, no less. Go out there and see Joe and see if he looks as boring as he sounds. And you know what? He does. Isn't that amazing? That's one thing about Joe. At least he's consistent. He sounds like a man with no personality. And around the station, he's known affectionately as Old Penis Face. And wouldn't you say that that's an appropriate? See, now you're not going to comment because you don't see anything. It's always like you play that little, that thing,
Play what little thing?
That little thing.
The crickets?
Whatever that is.
I stand by my original comments. I have no idea how good Joe Zagacki sounds on the air. It's all Chinese to me.
I see. He crushed it. Nat Moore with Joe from 5 to 6 today. And then, of course, 6:30 we got Hurricane Hotline and Dave and Buster's. Those Hurricanes, man, who also somebody's got to tell me about the tough schedule that they play. Oh, yeah. The rumor I'm hearing up here is that next year the Hurricanes are going to schedule all high school teams so they can score at least 300 points a game. And then they can be damn sure being number one. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from how good they are, but, if you're that good, why not make a schedule where you play some real teams instead of this Big East crap with all these girls' schools and Florida A&M and all the Piper High and Boston College and Temple and Yeshiva. And what's that goddamn girls' school?
Huh?
Well, what's that girl? There's an all-girls school. What the hell is it? Well, whatever it is, they're going to have it on the schedule next year. What a joke. We're number one, baby. We beat up on a bunch of punks. Well, what's the big deal with that? What does it mean? Does it mean anything?
No.
But it makes, like I've always said, it makes the people there feel a lot better. Don't get too cocky about those Dolphins, baby. They played 3 games. They still haven't played a real team yet. I mean, in addition to which, I notice now that they're 3 like they are every season. Always the same deal. I notice nobody's screaming the own about Jay Fiedler anymore. About, cutting off his penis a second time and hanging him from a goddamn tree somewhere. Now everybody's in love with Jay Fiedler. How about that catch by Rondé Gadsden yesterday, huh? Oh! Wow. I flipped over just because I watched about 4 seconds of the Dolphin game because I was busily engrossed. You couldn't turn off that Patriot-Chiefs game. Man, that was, even George, I bet you watched that.
What?
But, boy, that catch by Rondé Gadsden, that was just, he reaches out with his big, gigantic hand, and, well, you know what I'm talking about, with a one-handed grab, and he grabbed it. He grabbed the old pigskin. Since the terrorist attacks of 9/11/2001 and despite heightened security, wait till you hear this. How many planes do you think have violated airspace over presidential residences since the attacks?
137.
You must have seen this. It's
No.
157.
Wow.
FAA records show that in the year since the terrorist attacks, planes have flown into off-limits airspace near the White House 7 times. Over the presidential retreat camp at Camp David, Maryland, the FAA says there were 104 violations. And over President Bush's ranch at Crawford, Texas, they listed 46. The FAA issued a warning to pilots this summer after a weekend in which 3 aircraft flew into prohibited airspace over Camp David while the Bush family was there. One of the violators was an ultralight aircraft that the Secret Service spotted when it was directly overhead. Military pilots couldn't track the small plane, which doesn't show up on radar, and it got away. In a recent address to airline pilots, Art Cummings, chief of the NBI's National Joint Strategic Assessment and Warning Section, cautioned, "We've seen terrorist organizations looking at everything as small as ultralights to deliver weapons of mass destruction. That's yet another vulnerability that we have to take a look at very strongly," he said. "We have yet to fill that gap." The Secret Service wouldn't comment on the potential threat posed by small aircraft. The FAA in July for the first time began posting charts on its website showing the off-limits airspace so pilots can see on a map where they cannot fly. Still, problems continued. During Labor Day weekend, while Bush was at his Texas ranch, 5 planes flew into the prohibited airspace. All were escorted down by fighter jets. Pilots who violate prohibited airspace can be fined or have their licenses revoked or suspended, but the most common penalty is remedial training, according to the FAA. While some lawmakers have asked for tougher penalties, others, including Representative James Oberstar of Minnesota, say the FAA is sometimes at fault for not giving pilots adequate or accurate information. Light planes with weapons of mass destruction, huh? Not that we ought to be nervous or anything like that, but... Yeah, here they come. White House disputes terror plot report. Federal law enforcement authorities have detained several Sudanese citizens as part of the government's anti-terrorism investigation, an administration official said Friday. But the official, speaking, of course, on condition of anonymity, disputed a published report that the FBI and CIA are searching for a Sudanese Air Force pilot who entered Canada with plans to fly a hijacked airliner to the White House. There is no one at large who's going to fly a plane into the White House, the official said. The Sudanese suspects were being questioned at an undisclosed location, he be saying. The federal government has taken into custody over the last several weeks numerous individuals, as exemplified by the case in Buffalo, in Lackawanna, that includes several Sudanese who are being questioned. There is no evidence that any of these suspects had any kind of plot against the White House. The official was referring to the arrest last week of 6 Western New York men accused of running that terrorist cell. In Lackawanna, citing unnamed intelligence sources, the Washington Times said the pilot was trained in Afghanistan and is linked to Osama bin Laden's al-Qaeda terrorist network. White House Press Secretary and Minister of Information Ari Fleischer, asked about the Times report, seemed to play down its credibility. There are a variety of threats. Some have more credibility, some have less. I'm not in a position from this podium to give you any indications about anything that may deal with intelligence or potential threats. I'll just leave it at that, he said. In other words, like that. That's what he said, okay? The Minister of Information. Ari, don't call me a turncoat Fleischer. R. Kelly makes Chicago court appearance. Oh! But we haven't heard about him in a long time, you know it?
Too long.
In a coon's age. Grammy-winning singer R. Kelly appeared in court Friday as prosecutors pressed ahead with child pornography charges against him. Lawyers in the case said more evidence needed to be exchanged by the two sides before trial, and Cook County Circuit Judge Vincent Gahn scheduled another hearing for November 1st. Kelly, 35, dressed in a crisp gray suit and blue tie, stood without saying a word during the brief appearance. He'd be saying nothing. The attorneys say the trial may not take place until next year for Kelly, who faces 21 counts of videotaping, producing or soliciting for child pornography. The charges stem from a 26-minute videotape that allegedly depicted the rhythm and blues star engaging in numerous sex acts with a girl that police say was 14 years old at the time. Kelly, whose given name is Robert, has pleaded... Did you know he had like a real name?
Of course. Don't they all?
No. Has pleaded in it like Eminem. He don't have a real name.
Yeah.
What is his real
Marshall
name?
Mathers.
That's right, Marshall Mathers. I prefer to stick with Eminem. Kelly, whose given name is Robert, is... Oh, and as a matter of fact, Bonnie, one of the broads that does the sideline reporting on the NFL for CBS, her name is Bonnie Bernstein or something like that. And Dick Enberg says, now let's go down to B squared.
Oh, boy.
And I just about upchucked it then. You know, Dick Enberg used to be really good about 50 years ago when he was 20 years old, when he was 40 years old, when he was 60, about 50 years ago, Dick Enberg. And not only that, but Paul McGuire. This man never showed that. He's like John Davidson. He must get paid by the word. Like he's on Doggy Uppers or something. Shut up already, Paul, okay? Kelly, whose given name is Robert, has pleaded innocent, denied the man on the tape is him. His lawyers have said the girl in any case was of age. A conviction carries a possible... Now, that's interesting. It's not him, but regardless, she was of age. Well, how do they know that?
It wasn't me, and by the way, I wasn't there.
No, but it wasn't me. I wasn't there, but by the way, she's 18. Yeah. A conviction carries a possible 15-year prison term. Kelly remains free on bond. His brother, Carl Kelly, 25, an aspiring rap singer, greeted his brother outside the courthouse, along with a half-dozen supporters shouting, "Hang in there, Robert. Hang in there, bro. Yo, yo, yo. Let's go rape Mo." Carl Kelly said false rumors have spread that he, not his famous older brother, is the man on the tape. Bootleg copies of the tape became hot sellers on street corners, and a copy was sent anonymously to the Chicago Sun-Times newspaper and turned over to the police. 431 votes because it's a breathtaking, momentous day. Oh! Make no mistake about that. Should Neil start taking calls on the show again now that they're going to fix our asparatus today after the show? Yes, but only a few. 128. Almost 30%, though. Yes, please. 29.5%, 127. Maybe one day a week, 60, 14%. It makes no difference to me, 13.6. Still hanging around that 14% loyalty number, huh? 59. Absolutely not, please. 29, 6.7%. And if he does, I'll blow my brains out. 28, 6.4%. So we got like a little over 13% who are adamant they don't want any goddamn calls, no matter what, come hell or high water. We got about 29% who are adamant they want them. Please, they want to hear some of these great calls that we got. They don't just want to hear me sitting here pontificating and reading and all this ponderous stuff. They want to hear some really articulate, bright people out there saying really intelligent stuff, like Maricon. And who do you think was? Yeah, and of course not the raspberry guy. Don't let's forget about him. In fact, I think the 28 votes, if he does, I blow my brains out. I think Miguel, George, and Carlos are the ones who voted like 9 times apiece.
I notice it's awfully lopsided. The people that have a vested interest in you picking up the phone are voting heavy duty.
Didn't I say that before? Who do you think those people are who say yes, please? Those are the ones who want to hear the sound of their own voice again.
They need it.
Oh, they need it. They're desperate. That's their only conduit with the human race.
Chicopee.
Exactly. They want somebody to tap them on the head and say, hey, we recognize you're alive. We know you have no life, but you're alive, or close to it. Well, we'll see. Give it a chance here before you start jumping to all kinds of whatever. 11:56. By the way, we got some great news for you people out there by me. Next Monday, the 30th of September, is a day that will live in infamy. It's the opening of the brand-new Pizza Loft on the corner of Nob Hill and Sunrise, right behind Walgreens in that little strip shopping center on the corner there. Right behind my good friend Marcy at Walgreens is the brand-new loft, baby. Oh! And the food will be just as delicious, the portions will be just as fresh, just as big, and the prices will be just as teeny and embarrassingly low. So you can take the whole gang there over and over and over again. In fact, the Rimmers threatened this weekend they might come by for a free meal when I come back.
This weekend?
As a matter of fact, maybe you'll come by, and Jeff will buy you a free lunch there.
It's all right.
Pizza Loft, baby. They're still going strong there on University Drive between Griffin and 595. Like I said, the food is fresh. It's delicious. It's all cooked to order. There's no microwaving of anything. They don't even have microwave ovens in the joint, okay? Although Jeff might have a joint or two in the back. In fact, maybe if you're really nice to him, he'll take you in the back room and show you the joint. Pizza Loft, they got combination dinner, so if you've never been in there before, you can try a little bit of this and a lot of that. They got chicken dishes and veal and seafood, 3 different kinds of great pizza, calzone, super subs, and garlic rolls that are so good you can't eat only 5. They're just loaded with garlic, dripping with it. They're fantastic. For takeout, for delivery, for catering, which they do a stupendous job of, call 954-916-8880. 954-916-8880. And again, they got lots of free parking there. They're right behind Pier 1 Imports, kitty corner of the new Armadillo Cafe, between Griffin and 595 on University. That's the Broward location that's going strong already. And starting next Monday, the 30th, mark it on your wrist. The brand new Pizza Loft opens in prestigious Plantation.
Live and local. We're Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Hi, this is Steve Goldstein, but you can call me Geldy. Whenever I'm in town, I listen to Wait a minute, I am in town. It's the 12 to 1 hour.
Welcome back to the glittering pageantry of the Mohammed and David Show. We have a full docket today, including the cavalcade of articulate athlete interviews. You know that pipe smoker's still at it. What? Singing those songs, making fun of me. They make fun of me all the time. I don't know why they don't adore me.
Dear, everything will be all right, Mo.
Get your hands off me, you fairy. You queer? You tube jumper? Real men don't touch, only during the game.
Yes, master.
They want singing. I'll give them singing. Get on a piano. Over there.
Okay, Mo.
Now, hit it. Back in my day, men were straight.
Being gay is hip today.
That's why I can't tolerate jizz-guzzling gays.
Sport holes weren't gay back then.
Stop it, you moron!
What's the matter, Mo?
My wig fell off again. Okay. All right, where were we?
Sport holes weren't gay back then.
I'll take it from here. The guys that like to worship men.
Good thing we won't see Portland or Wayland and Madam again.
Didn't mean to soothe prostates.
Or to tickle hairy taint.
Jesus Christ, I really hate
jizz-guzzling gays.
Exactly. It's 12:03 at 560 WQM. Happy Monday to you. Man, what a beautiful day. Sun is shining here, just a wispy cloud or two in the sky. High of 66 today, and that's where it's at, man. These are the few days when it's like perfect 66, 68, 70. Sun is shining. KFC customer must have thought he had a perfect day, too. He got pot with his chicken. Mill Valley, California. A Mill Valley KFC restaurant employee was arrested after a customer received a little something extra with his chicken dinner. The customer received 2 bags of marijuana Friday instead of the extra biscuits he had requested. The customer gave the marijuana back to the employee, got his extra biscuits, and called police. What an asshole.
God.
What a schmuck. Called police. Police arrested Carlos Ayala, 26, of Vallejo, shortly after the customer complained about the pot. Marin County Sheriff's deputy said they found Ayala with a small amount of marijuana, a handgun, and about $500 in his possession. Ayala often worked the drive-up window at the restaurant. Authorities say he may have been selling the marijuana to customers who used the right secret word as a code, as in like Mary Jane, something subtle like that. How do you like that? And they called the police. Man, what a piece of turd. He ought to go out and kiss the guy in the lips.
I'm telling you, that must have been the code word. You forgot my biscuits.
The U.S. is vulnerable to terrorism aimed at farms that produce the nation's food, scientists say. Such an attack could easily happen, the National Research Council said in a report released last Thursday. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, said R. James Cook, a council member from Washington State University. While there may be a very low probability now, what about in 20 years, he'd be asking. You know, all of these terrible things, they're all saying the same thing about everything. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. Like from the Bob Greene School of Life. I mean, if it's like that, why don't we just all blow our brains out, you know? The council report said an attack on food production probably wouldn't lead to famine or malnutrition, but it could hurt public confidence in the food supply and disrupt the economy, costing millions, if not billions, of dollars. The panel, an arm of the National Academy of Sciences, pinpointed weaknesses in the U.S. plan of defense against bioterrorism in its report, one of the most comprehensive reviews of farm security to date. Since last year, scientists have considered ways terrorists could spirit diseases across U.S. borders and infect cattle with mad cow disease, contaminate grain fields, or spread, I'm never ready for this way I need to be, you know, or spread anthrax. Many pathogens are easily dispersed, such as foot and mouth disease, an illness that doesn't harm humans but can quickly sicken herds of pigs and cattle. An outbreak of foot and mouth occurred in Britain more than a year ago, raising concerns the disease could appear in the U.S. of A. The 9/11 hijackings and anthrax by mail attacks heightened security, scientists worries. The panel urged U.S. officials to improve their communication with intelligence agencies, universities, and farm groups to help the public cope with food and farm security threats. It also suggested the government strengthen its border inspections by adding new equipment to detect harmful bacteria and diseases. In addition, the Council is recommending the government immediately increase its efforts to understand plant and animal diseases and how they're spread, establish a network of laboratories that will respond to, detect, and diagnose diseases, and form a nationwide system to manage and collect bioterrorism information. How do you like that, huh?
I don't.
If they don't get you in the air ducts, they're going to get you in your dinner plate. Cities colorblind to terror warnings. Many ignore nation's 5-color alert system. Now, are we still on that orange?
I guess.
Are we on that high alert? Many of the nation's cities, that's a bad question to be asking you. Many of the nation's cities have taken little or no action in response to the federal government's elevated terrorism alert. A survey of the National League of Cities be shown. This is in USA Today, so it could be true, especially if there's some colorful pictures with the story. The survey of 309 cities mainly involved small to medium-sized cities. About 25% have customized preparedness plans to conform to the national 5-color alert system. 1 in 5 don't understand what the system means. I wonder what they're thinking about this in Geneva, New York. Do you think that they're up to speed on it? Most cities didn't step up security around September 11th, even though the Bush administration put the nation on threat condition orange or a high alert for a terrorist attack. Orange. It was the first time the level was raised since the government set up the color-coded system in March. The alert system is designed to communicate threats to the nation. The government recommends certain security steps, but state and local governments aren't required to act. The threat levels are red for severe. Well, you know what they are. Under threat condition orange, the federal government suggests that the local government industry leaders take extra precautions at public events, coordinate security with armed forces or police, and allow some people to stay home or work from other locations. Joe DeStefano, mayor of New Haven, says the city put extra security guards on duty for a couple of days around September 11th. Those precautions are no longer in place. We'd appreciate some more information, he says. There's a real disconnect between what's happening in cities and towns and the rhetoric in Washington. Barb Grant, emergency preparedness manager for Bellevue, Washington, says the alert would have gotten her attention if, for example, officials said terrorists were planning to attack shopping malls on the West Coast. A more general alert, she says, doesn't warrant many specific local actions. The survey also found fewer than a third of cities increased security at utilities, public buildings, schools, or airports. 27% said conducted business as usual, and fewer than a fifth issued local warnings or coordinated with the police and emergency responders. The code is like the boy who cried wolf, said John Weichel, town manager of Southern Connecticut. We did nothing as there was nothing to be done. How do you like that, huh?
I don't.
So the dog and pony show continues. Kentucky Governor Patton admits to inappropriate relationship with a woman suing him for harassment.
Boy!
Governor Paul Patton on Friday tearfully admitted to having an inappropriate personal relationship with a woman who's suing him for sexual harassment. He denied he used his influence to assist her damage her business, a nursing home, as she has alleged. I've now apologized to the people of Kentucky and asked for your forgiveness, the married governor said. I do believe that now I'm on the right path. Kind of like Jimmy Swaggart. He's on the right path. It's not easy for me to discuss private failures in a public forum, but I do so because I want to be honest with the people of Kentucky, try to earn their trust and respect again. Patton had denied the relationship Wednesday at a news conference with his wife of 25 years, Judy, at his side. The governor said Friday he had worried about the impact the public disclosure would have on his family and now realizes the denial was a mistake. Well, I guess he's not the first guy to make a mistake like that. No. He's not the first Democratic office holder to deny I never did it with the bitch. The woman, Tina Connor, alleged she had a 2-year affair with Patton and that the governor turned state inspectors loose on her nursing home in western Kentucky after she ended the relationship. Patton denied it. Under no circumstances have I or anyone under my direct control tried to punish Ms. Connor, he said. I hope she'll go forward with her life as I'm trying to go forward with mine. Mrs. Connor, not Ms. Oh. Patton, 65, a Democrat and chairman of the National Governors Association, is in his second term and cannot seek re-election in 2003. He's been considered a candidate to challenge first-term Republican Senator Jim Bunning in 2004. Former great National League pitcher Jim Bunning, remember him?
No.
With the Phillies?
No.
And didn't he also pitch for the Detroit Tigers?
Yes.
Yeah, Jim Bunning, baby. Another right-winger. How come all the, we've been through this many, many times, all the ex-jocks, almost every one of them, right-wingers, man, because it's part of that jock mentality. That good old Republican macho mentality. 457 votes on that survey already. It's astonishing, man. I think we're going to be over 500 by the end of the show today. They are really emotional about this, aren't they? Should Neil start taking calls on the show again? Yes, but only a few. 135, 29.5%. Yes, please. 133, 29.1%. It's about 29% that are dying for it, and of course we know who those people are. The guy with the eyes, right. The guy with a fanny pack, the maricon, that guy.
By the way, just like the weekend's poll that was even, you notice how this one's even too, like this is their new flexing their muscles.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. So you're starting to get paranoid. I know my fake pulls when I see them, okay?
All right.
See, because there's no relationship between those two, don't you understand? As opposed to the Wiccans and the Sickens.
What was the relationship between those?
Six and Wicks and Sick. What?
What was the relationship between those?
The relationship was that we both made comments about them on Friday.
Uh-huh.
When I said that there's like no Wiccans out there, why did you even bring this up? And then the 6, there weren't any, and I said we had 24 and a thing last time, how could there be no 6? So that was the relationship. Every time we make a man, and see, now you just did it again. As opposed to just taking a poll, which I told you a long time ago, you don't know your poll, mister. I seen a few polls in my time. In Warsaw. No, seriously, you just take the poll and fly with it, okay? This is not scientific. Our livelihoods aren't going to depend on it, although yours might, especially when those numbers come out today.
Oi!
At 1 o'clock. We got the trends coming out at 1 o'clock. Spread the word, everybody. We'll have them on the show tomorrow morning. We're going to scour. We're going to go into those things. We're going to, believe me, we're going to go in great detail. Every station that's on the list. And by the way, Norma, you won't be on there, okay, sweetheart? You aren't going to make the cut. He may have made the cut at birth, but he ain't going to make it again. And neither is Mr. Ego. Will he be on there?
No.
No chance. With that make-believe show on a make-believe station. Wasn't I in the middle of giving a result here of the poll before you started interrupting again?
Yes.
Well, I'll do it later. I got to do the break. We don't want to get behind here because then we'll take see, we get out of here every day right on time, man. In fact, what I do is in the last couple of minutes, I turn on City Pulse 24, and they have like the digital clock, that's like, so because my clock over here, like right now it says 11:49. My clock keeps falling behind, Eric. I don't know why, huh? What does yours say?
12:12.
See, mine don't. Mine says 11:49. But on here, 12, 24, 25. So we get out of here right on time, as opposed to like certain other shows because they're too goddamn important, like that morning show. You notice lately he's getting into a new pattern. Can't get out of here on time for some reason. Well, that's just probably part. Takes a lot of time to say that 40, 50 times. Have you heard the news about the 3.95% mortgage?
Yes.
Well, it's true. If you've been thinking about checking this out, there's no obligation. When in doubt, check it out. Because now's the smart time to purchase a home or refinance your existing home at the amazingly low rate of only 3.95%. If you have a 7.5% mortgage, that 3.95% rate would save you over 3.5% or over $3,500 the first year alone on a $100,000 mortgage. So don't make things harder for yourself than they need to be. Pick up the phone and make them as simple as pie. Call Financial Group, although I do like those pies at Mother Hummers, you know it? Call 1-800-940-LEND, L-E-N-D. That's 1-800-940-5363. Getting a mortgage someplace else will cost you thousands of dollars extra each year, so forget about that. Think of all the money you can save when you have yourself a 3.95% mortgage. Financial Group has helped thousands of customers just like you. Put your financing in the best possible position by getting yourself a 3.95% mortgage. Call Financial Group today, right now, and tell them Todd Direct told you to call 1-800-940-5363. And by the way, speaking of Todd Dreck, wasn't he going to have us that new fast train stuff today when a guy came back from out of town? 1-800-940-5363. They're an equal housing lender. Credit restrictions do apply, and rates are subject to change if you wait too long.
Live and local. This is Sports Radio 560. QAM.
Fudge packing?
Today at noon, the doctor is in for 2 solid hours of double team action.
Yeah. Hi, Dr. Bitko?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm a little upset. I found out that my boss made a pass at my wife.
Mm-hmm. And you're concerned.
Yeah, and I'm not sure
you don't have
what to do.
Right, you don't know what to do? Is your boss a masturbator? Does he masturbate?
I don't know.
All right. You need to masturbate with your boss together. The two of you need to sit down in his office, and you need to masturbate.
What?
You need to masturbate. You need to
I don't think I can do that.
Wait a minute. Are you willing to go to any length?
Yeah.
Then you need to masturbate with him. In fact, you need to masturbate each other. You need to masturbate each other.
All right.
All right?
I'll do it.
You feel better?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Dr. Visco, today at noon.
All right.
12:18 at 560 WQAM. Police city officials defend squads photographing of detainees even those not arrested. Our good friends in Delaware again.
Is that the pre-filing we were talking about?
Yeah. Wilmington, Delaware. The city police department's corner deployment unit is known as the Jump Out Squad for bursting out of vehicles to question and search suspects its officers also are known for something else, snapping photos of suspects they stop, even those they don't arrest. City officials defend the practice as a legal and effective part of fighting drug dealing and street crime. Critics say it violates the constitutional rights of innocent people. In an era where surveillance cameras peer from buildings and parking lots, courts have ruled that people can't expect privacy in public places. Civil libertarians argue that police photographing people they don't arrest is a different matter. There is no authority to forcibly photograph someone and then enter them into a database where they have committed no crime, said Barry Steinhardt, Associate Director of the ACLU. I'm not aware of any other municipal police department that's engaged in this type of behavior, he'd be saying. Wilmington Mayor James Baker described such criticism as blithering idiocy, saying police take pains to protect the rights of law-abiding citizens while targeting people who are killing our neighbors, who are killing our people. City officials deny police are photographing individuals they believe are likely to commit crimes. Some media reports have compared the technique to Minority Report, a recent science fiction movie in which police identify criminals before they commit crimes. It's not a Gestapo technique. It's not anything other than a progressive means of policing an urban environment, said police spokesman Corporal Stephen Martelli. You think he's related to Mr. Martini?
I'll see.
Among other things, the photos can serve as proof that a person arrested for loitering received other warnings. They're also kept as possible evidence for ongoing investigations, authorities said. Police Chief Michael Zazurba said his department is taking photographs of suspects for years without complaints. It's highly improbable that innocent people were caught up in the stops, he said. According to city officials, 658 people were stopped and questioned between June, when the Stump-Out Squad's Operation Bull Eagle began, and last week. Among them, 546 were arrested and 708 charges were filed. Police believe the other 112 are involved in criminal activity, even if officers didn't find enough evidence that day to arrest them. So in other words, it's not a question of whether you did anything wrong now or before now, but we think you will.
Yeah. We know.
Yeah, we know what you got in mind. We know what's up your sleeve. Remember Friday we had the denial Johnny Carson says he's not dying?
Right.
And that there was a story in the Inquirer, the one that was coming out Friday? Well, Here it is in my hand right now, man. We don't mess around with those tabloids. I got them. Johnny Carson battling deadly lung disease, it says here, in the Inquirer. TV legend Johnny Carson is battling a deadly lung disease, and he's hiding his increasingly serious condition by living as a recluse aboard his private yacht. Pals say, and of course everybody in these stories has lots of pals. How you doing, Pally? Pals say the 76-year-old former Tonight Show host, who once smoked several packs of cigarettes a day, has been grappling with killer emphysema for 7 years and wants to stay out of the public eye. The ailing star's lung condition hampered his recovery from quadruple bypass surgery 3 years ago, and since the incurable disease has gotten worse, leaving him out of breath and fatigued. Johnny's more than aware that emphysema could eventually kill him, said a source close to the Carson family, but he's battling the disease the best he can. Remember I told you by the end of the year? He's hoping that the clean sea air will keep him as healthy as possible. Take deep breaths, Johnny. Come on. Breathe in, breathe out. Like on Passions. Breathe in, breathe out. Although Johnny's heart condition has improved, emphysema has forced him to change his lifestyle completely. He's had to adapt to a more sedentary lifestyle, the source said. He just can't exercise like he used to. He's not on an oxygen tank. See, I'm just out of the blue. Just because of this story, I'm gagging and choking on it. He's not on an oxygen tank, but he's facing an ongoing battle with emphysema. Emphysema is a serious disease that can't be reversed. According to experts, the chronic condition gets worse with time, and patients gradually become more and more disabled. About half of all patients survive 10 years or longer after diagnosis, but patients with severe emphysema often die within 4 years. Emphysema is a devastating disease, but if patients are able to remain active, they live longer. Dr. Edward Haponik, a lung specialist at Johns Hopkins Medical School of Medicine, told the Inquirer. With shortness of breath limiting his activities, ailing Johnny has taken to spending his days sailing his 130-foot custom-built motor yacht, the Serengeti. This summer he cruised with his devoted wife Alex and a crew of 9 up and down the Atlantic coast, stopping in ports of call but rarely staying long. As far as Johnny's concerned, sailing is the best thing he can do for his emphysema, the source be saying. The healthy sea air gives Johnny renewed energy and vitality, and he's looking much better than the pasty gray he was earlier this year. Although he's still weak, Johnny appears tanned and fit. But throughout his travels, the star has shied away from the public. Johnny is almost as reclusive as Howard Hughes, the source said. He was going to stay at Sag Harbor on the tip of Long Island through Labor Day, but he got spooked after a newspaper printed a report of the Serengeti being berthed in a slip there. He immediately had the boat's captain weigh anchor and head back out to sea. Outside of the fact that he loves being out on the sea for clean air, he also loves that he doesn't have to see another soul out there. Johnny doesn't want to see anybody. When the boat docks, he usually stays below deck watching his satellite TV. Occasionally, he may slip ashore for a quiet lunch alone with Alex, as he did one afternoon in Boston at Ristorante Toscano. But mostly, he's content to be by himself with Alex and the crew. Jerry Sotzig, head of Carson Productions and Johnny's nephew, told the Inquirer he didn't think the star had emphysema. But a family friend insisted Johnny's smoking led to his disease. There was a time after Johnny had his heart attack that his doctors thought he'd be on oxygen indefinitely, but Johnny desperately did not want to be tied down to an oxygen tank for the rest of his life. He stopped smoking, got checkups regularly, but over time his conditions deteriorated. He did too much damage to his lungs as a young man. His biggest regret in life is that he's being a big smoker. Quit smoking, all you punks out there. Quit smoking it. Quit gagging on it, okay? Because you're going to be dead. I think that's a good question. Now, what is this? Hank is doing the Monday Night Football on Sports Center in Tampa tonight?
That's what I was told.
That's why he's not on. Okay, Hank's doing a Monday Night Football on Sports Center on ESPN tonight, which is why he's not. Well, I knew it had to do something with that. You know, the Humper's got bigger fish to fry than worrying about QAM, and I don't blame him. Like I said, more pay, less work. We like that. Oh! Nice going, Humper. Don't even show up. Show up like just mail it in. That's the way to do it. He's taking a pay. See, I set the trend for all of these guys. You notice?
They're
just like last Monday, I'm promoting the Mad Dog going to be on at 1 o'clock, and all of a sudden, lo and behold, comes 1 o'clock, and there's the little dog. There's Joe Rose, much to my amazement. Especially amazing now that we had like two. Was it Monday or Tuesday? Whatever day it was.
I forget.
And we have two PDs running around the building, and I can't even find out who's going to be on the air, get a schedule right. And what was Maddox doing? Effing off again, like he told me that day. Oh, he just took the day off. Nice going, Mad Dog.
Oh!
More pay, less work. That's the all-American way, baby. More and more money and less work. Maybe we'll show up once in a while. Like Tom Dickens says, we'll call in from ports abroad, you know?
Like Johnny.
Just like Johnny. We'll call it in from wherever the hell we dock at the moment.
They could build a studio in your yacht.
And it sounds like Johnny could use a good dock. 1226. Poor Johnny, boy. You can just see at his funeral as they bring in the casket and Ned McMahon here. I mean, wouldn't that be bad?
Oh, that would be bad.
That would be terrible. But it would be kind of amusing, though. Yeah, I mean, Johnny would like that, I think.
I think so.
No, he wouldn't. No, he's got to be a reclusive old prick. I got your Dr. Phil stuff coming up in a minute. You're going to love it. You're going to be squeezing yourself. You're going to be obsessed. Speaking of squeezing yourself, if you're so fat that you can't even find it, much less squeeze it, here's the answer for you, Balance for Life. Our good friend The Beast, who used to work on a morning show, used to work on the Mo Howard David show, but for some inexplicable reason they're not on that show anymore when he comes back from vacation next week. The Beast lost 55 pounds on Balance for Life, and you can do the same or even more. You just keep going at it, man. Just keep eating the food that they provide for you every morning in your little black sack. 6 o'clock in the morning, like clockwork, they deliver it right to your door. At home, at work, at your massage parlor, wherever you are at 6 o'clock in the morning. And that's all you have to think about. Right inside that sack is all the food you want for the day. 3 gourmet meals, 2 delicious snacks, even a little 16-ounce bottled water is in there, too, to get you started. And the food is delicious, it's fresh, it's made with the best ingredients. There's all kinds of great veggies in there. And even some of the stuff that doesn't sound all that great, you'll be amazed it's delicious. And you get to choose 2 alternatives for each meal and snack every day that you're on the program. And the weight just pours off your body. And what a relief from other so-called weight loss programs where you have to count calories and you have to count carbohydrates and you have to go shopping for this and that. You don't have to shop for anything because everything you're going to eat is in that little black sack. So if you want to lose weight the painless way, the effective way, the delicious way, this is the answer. Believe you me when I tell you. In fact, I'm really looking forward to coming back and getting on it and the diet, too. Balance for Life. Call them at this number, 954-568-3229. That's 954-568-3229 if you want to lose the weight and start looking and feeling like a human being. Or check out their website at balanceforlife.com.
Live and local. This is Sports Radio 560. QAM.
Anytown at 560 WQAM.
This fall, television changes forever. His Tell It Like It Is style has already impacted millions of Americans. His appearances on Oprah have propelled him into the national limelight. Get ready for Dr. Phil.
Well, Phil, we've been married 20 years.
Don't cry.
I'm
I'm not crying.
Look at me when you talk.
I'm looking right at you.
See, your problem is you're stupid.
No, you see, me and my husband...
You got a big butt, too, and you're stupid.
What?
Why are you crying? You see, I don't have any sympathy for you.
But you see, me and my husband...
You're an idiot.
We haven't had sex in like 10 years.
Well, I wouldn't have sex with you either. Look at the can on you.
Dr. Phil.
You know, the problem seems to be I come home, I want to watch TV.
Don't tell me about you. Tell me about her.
Well, I'm not trying to tell you. She comes into the room.
Don't tell me what she does. Tell me what you do.
I sit in the chair, and I have the TV on.
No,
and
you're too busy watching TV is your deal. That's what men want to do. We just want to watch TV. You can't do it.
Well, I want to do it. And
well, you can't do it. See, your problem is you're dumb. You're a dumb, watching TV idiot.
Excuse me?
I said you're a dumb. Don't eyeball me like that. I'm trying to help you. You're on my show. You don't have your own show, do you? You know, you need some of this. Oh! How about this? Oh! Idiot.
Oh!
Dr. Phil.
See, Dr. Phil, he just doesn't...
Now, why are you talking so quiet? You see, already I can tell that you're a pushover.
But he just doesn't...
Don't tell me what he does.
But I just don't understand
How about some of this for you, too? Some of this.
Dr. Phil, this fall.
Here you go, Mr. Announcer Boy. There's some love for you, too.
You know, I just realized that the Inquirer story has got this other one in here, but I have to separate them. They're too good to be, like, shortchanged.
Okay.
So the first one from this week's Globe exposed Dr. Phil the love cheat.
Oh!
Dr. Phil McGraw's cheating doomed his first marriage to his high school sweetheart and left her devastated, Globe can reveal. But the hot new TV advice guru, who sternly lectures people about taking responsibility for their actions, stubbornly refused. His wife, Deborah Lee Higgins, has come forward to tell all and brand him a shameless hypocrite. While McGraw today declares that stay-at-home wives can ruin a relationship, he didn't even let Higgins get a job, says the friend. He then gave her just $500 and a Pontiac Grand Prix in a divorce settlement, adds the pal, cruelly telling her, you didn't work so you don't deserve anything. The friend notes that it wasn't until an interview just last month that he would even acknowledge that he had previously tied the knot before he walked down the aisle 26 years ago with his second wife, Robin. Who claims he and Higgins ended their marriage on good terms, declaring, we never had a cross word. We sat down and said, why did we do this? The psychotherapist's first wife had never spoken about her heartache, but a friend revealed to the Globe the intimate details of the marriage and told how Higgins was shattered by the breakup. When she sees the relationship guru pontificating on TV. Debbie worshipped him, then she found out he was seeing other women, the pal says. She's seen another pal. She was shattered. Phil had always told her that he loved her and wanted to spend the rest of his life with her. As far as Phil's claim that they never had a cross word, well, his actions spoke louder than words. In a storybook romance, McGraw and Debbie met while attending Shawnee Mission North High School in Shawnee Mission, Kansas. By the senior year, he was a hulking 6'4" lineman, and she was head cheerleader and homecoming queen. Phil was the only guy Debbie dated, confides the friend. When he proposed to her after they graduated in '68, she eagerly said yes. But they didn't get married until 2 years later, not right out of high school like Phil has claimed. First, McGraw attended the University of Tulsa on a football scholarship, but he left the Oklahoma school following his freshman year because of a serious injury he suffered in a game. He then took a job at a health spa in Lubbock, Texas. Phil called Debbie and asked her to move down to Lubbock to be with him, says the friend. That didn't set too well with her mom. This was Kansas in 1970, and an unmarried couple living together was still pretty much taboo. Plus, her mom wasn't crazy about Phil from the start. But Debbie was so deeply in love with him, she relocated to Lubbock. Eventually, when they were 20, they exchanged vows at the Southridge Presbyterian Church in Shawnee Mission, November 27, 1970. The newlyweds finally settled down in Topeka, Kansas, where McGraw opened the Grecian Health Spa. The 1973 Topeka phone book lists a Phil McGraw living at the same address as the spa listed in a large yellow page ad. In other words, he was running a business out of his house.
Okay.
By then, the marriage was already hitting the skids. One day, Phil went to the airport to pick up his father after telling Debbie to have his dinner ready when they returned, says the friend, but he never came home that night. Devastated, Debbie went across the street to cry on a pal's shoulder. The neighbor told Debbie, I've seen Phil bringing other women to your home when you've been away, reveals the friend. It was like Debbie had been hit in the back of the head with a brick. Incredibly, McGraw didn't even deny it when Debbie confronted him, says her pal. He told her, don't take it personally. It has nothing to do with my feelings toward you. That's the way of the world, so grow up. It shows you the size of his ego and his mind. He didn't do anything wrong. Higgins slapped him with the divorce papers, and although she just got a few bucks in the used Pontiac from him, Debbie was thrilled to be out, reveals the friend. She was out of it. While McGraw forbade Debbie to take a job after they tied the knot, he apparently changed his tune drastically. Today in his best-selling books like Self Matters and Getting Real, he declares that wives who don't work are a big threat to happy marriages. Despite the breakup of McGraw's first marriage, his current wife insists she's not nervous at all about him cheating on her. He knows there's nothing that would make it okay for him to have an affair or treat me with disrespect, says Robin, who was a high school friend of McGraw's sister and met him soon after his divorce. We got a lot of our differences settled during the 4 years we were dating, but for Higgins, her fairy tale romance turned into a nightmare, and she's horrified to see how her ex is claiming to be a perfect relationship expert, her friend says. Debbie told me all I wanted out of our life together was peace and happiness, and if some money came later, terrific. But it looks like Phil's motivations were different than mine, says the friend, the pal. Now Phil's making millions as a therapist who feels qualified to tell people what's wrong with them, but it seems like he believes he's never made a mistake in his life. It looks like a whole lot easier for Phil to never acknowledge that he has. How do you like that, huh? Dr. Phil freaking like hypocrite.
Don't eyeball me.
Now, and I guess I'll have to do the break because this one also is fairly lengthy. From the Inquirer, so, and the Inquirer also got an inset here. Dr. Phil is lying, says woman in sex scandal.
Yes.
Now, is that the same one or is this a different one? Oh, no, this is a different one. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Not more new stuff.
Yes. This is a third one.
All right.
Well, anyway, the first story in the Inquirer says Dr. Phil's father raped me. How do you like that?
I like it.
Former patient breaks her silence. Like I said, I better do the break. I'm almost speechless from this other one. Dr. Phil is lying, says woman in sex scandal. And this is in the Inquirer.
Oh!
So we know, we believe the Inquirer. Sure, a hell of a lot more than the Herald, or the Sun Sentinel, or the goddamn New York freaking Times, or the Washington Post, or the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, or the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, or the Rochester Democrat and Chronicle.
No.
Well, 491 votes. Look at it now. How are we doing on that? That makes no difference to me. 13%. See, it's been between 13 and 14%. Those loyal people out there who don't give a crap, they're going to listen to old Neil no matter what goes on in this show. We love them. Okay? They're sticking with us, just like Jimmy Bowen said, I'm sticking with you. Remember that, Jimmy Bowen?
No.
Boca Brian does. I'm sticking with you on Roulette Records, baby. Jimmy Bowen and Buddy Knox, Party Doll. Remember Party Doll by Buddy Knox?
Of course. It's back here.
Did I say 21 before 1 at 5? Boy, this show today has gone by like 5 minutes. Man, we need... Huh?
Feels like I just sat down.
And now that I found this other... See, I thought it was the same one in the inset, and it's my fault for not reading the details, but I couldn't imagine that there are like 3 scandals all in the same week of tabloids. Holy crap, Rat Man. Don't forget, by the way, on Showcase between 4 and 5 this afternoon on Rogers Cable, 2 back-to-back episodes of Batman. Oh, that's right, you don't get that. Oh, and guess what movie I saw on Scream TV this weekend?
I give up.
The War of...
The World?
Yes.
Own it.
And you know that priest? The priest that went out there and held up the cross? He's still dead.
Won't see him no more.
Hey, listen, if you want to toss and turn no more, here's the answer for you. A great new mattress. If you're not getting a good night's sleep, then you don't feel like crap. Your back is out of sorts and out of whack. And, of course, you don't feel good. If you want to feel great, and, of course, getting a good night's sleep is a big part of that, get you a great name brand mattress. You'll be amazed at how different and how much better you'll feel. Getting a great night's sleep every night. How do you do it? The easy way, by calling our good buddies at Dial Mattress, our pals. Just call 1-800-MATTRESS. 1-800-MATTRESS. You'll be talking to not some telephone operator, but somebody who really knows mattresses inside and out. Will make damn sure they hook you up with exactly the kind of mattress that you want and the brand name, whichever one is your favorite. And they only carry the top names, no off names. They got Serta, Sealy, Simmons, King Coil, and no bait and switch either. Exactly the one you order is the one they'll deliver, and they deliver it to you when it's convenient for you, any day of your life, 7 days a week, and you pick the 2-hour window between noon and 2, 1 and 3, 2 and 4, 3 and 5, 4:30 and 6:30, etc. And they give you that 30-day in-home comfort trial to test out your new mattress the smart way by sleeping on it and doing all sorts of obscene pornographic things on it. So pick up the phone and call them right now. You'll be amazed, like I always am, at how quickly they're there and what a super job they do of taking out the old bedding and setting up your brand new one. Call Dial a Mattress at 1-800-MATTRESS, 1-800-MATTRES, or you can also check them out on that World Wide Web at mattress.com.
Live and local. This is 560.
The radio's all yours now.
QAM.
French people piss me off.
Nicole, we're going into the personal life story now. Because otherwise, what do you have to talk about? Were you surprised by this divorce?
No, I begged him to let me out.
Really?
Yeah, to fire me.
Because
Tom requires sort of a commitment.
Yeah.
And then I was doing...
Oh, it's coming.
4 people.
Really?
Yes.
So that's got to be fun. That's got to be living out a fantasy.
Amazing.
It's so entertaining.
You like meat?
Oh, my God. What is going on in your head that comes out? Get out of here. Get out of here. Unbelievable. Bitch. What did I say to you? You remember what I said?
Okay, so refax me that page you just sent me about,
Sorkin?
Yeah. Aaron Sorkin. Refax me that because it was on a page where, because I'm trying to, conserve my fax paper here. Okay. So I put in some stuff that had some other crap on it, and I had it upside down. It's a good story, but I'm not going to have time for it today. There it goes. It's on its way from San Jose. Anyway, 504 votes on the poll, I should point out. Dr. Phil's father raped me. How do you like that? I was raped by Dr. Phil's father. That's the painful secret Martha Watley West is finally revealing in an exclusive Inquirer interview after 2 decades of silence. And it's the painful family secret that Dr. Phil McGraw, Oprah's handpicked relationship guru, hides behind his TV-ready smile. Dr. Phil's dad, Joe McGraw, ruined my life and destroyed my marriage, Martha declared. I was ready to kill myself. 4 weeks ago, the Inquirer revealed that a former female patient of Dr. Phil claimed he sexually abused her in 1985, and a state agency in Texas found that the psychologist was guilty of misconduct. The saying, like father, like son, applies to Dr. Phil and his father. No question, said Martha, 52. I thought I'd put it behind me until I saw Dr. Phil on TV all these years later. I felt like I had been raped one more time. Martha's nightmare began in 1981 when she went to psychologist Joe, who died in 1993, for help in battling depression after several deaths in her family. I went to his office in Wichita Falls, Texas, she told the Inquirer. He and Dr. Phil had offices in an older home. I was 31 and married. My husband was a banker. We had 2 small children. Dr. Joe was about 60, balding a little with a mustache. During my very first visit, he said, "Have you ever had an affair?" I was shocked. I said, "No." He said, "I can't believe that. You're so beautiful. I would love to make love to you." I was so naive. I just thought, oh my goodness, this man thinks I'm attractive. I was in awe of him. After that, he was flirtatious at every counseling session. 7 months into my therapy, we were sitting in our chairs when he stood up and walked over to me. He pulled my shoulders to have me stand up, and then he kissed me. And then he kissed me. Everly Brothers, remember?
Yes.
He pulled down his pants and underwear and pushed my shoulders down and had me perform oral sex on him. I'd never done that before in my life. When he exposed himself, he said proudly, "So what do you think of that?" I didn't say anything. I was overwhelmed. I was mesmerized by him. Afterward, he said if I told anyone, he could get in a lot of trouble. He said he had to be careful in case his wife, Jerry, found out. I never saw him again for therapy, but he did ask me to meet him one more time a week or 2 later. It was at the house of a bachelor friend of Joe. We went into the master bedroom and got undressed. He tried to do the sex act, but wasn't able to properly perform. When I left, I said, "I can't do this anymore." He said, "That's probably a good idea," because obviously he can't either. After that, he and Dr. Phil dropped me like a hot potato. I went into a terrible depression. I'd never had sex with anyone outside my marriage. I ended up feeling I'd ruined my life, and Dr. Joe had ruined my life. It goes on. But anyway, here comes the important part that I just discovered.
Okay.
And evidently they had this earlier, but here's the update. Because they're on top of it, man, at the Inquirer. They were the first on Robert Blake and the first on O.J. and the first on everything.
Right, and John Bonet.
And John Bonet. Dr. Phil is lying, says woman in sex scandal. Dr. Phil is desperate. I stick to my story. That's the angry declaration of a former patient of Dr. Phil McGraw, a woman who insists the TV psychologist sexually abused her after he denied her revelations, which were first reported in the Inquirer.
Oh!
In a blockbuster interview in our August 20th issue, the former patient said that when she was 20, Oprah Winfrey's self-help guru touched my breast and put his hands between my legs. I felt like a pedophile victim. The man's a predator. We revealed Dr. Phil was investigated by the Texas State Board of Examiners of Psychologists, and in 1989 he was found guilty of misconduct. Now Dr. Phil, whose own talk show has just debuted, claims the sexual abuse never took place, further devastating his former patient. The woman, now 38, was Dr. Phil's patient in Wichita Falls, Texas, and became his employee, too, before she filed a complaint with the board. She asked that her name not be used, although the Inquirer confirmed her complaint through official records. Before the Inquirer story was published, we made numerous attempts to get a comment from McGraw and received no answer, but a month later we told a magazine, "I've never so much as patted this woman on the back. It was absolutely and totally false, and it was fully investigated and dismissed." But the woman's complaint was not dismissed, the Inquirer learned. The board punished Dr. Phil with a public reprimand and demanded that his practice be supervised by another psychologist. The woman told the Inquirer after hearing Dr. Phil's remarks, "This makes me feel ill. I feel like I'm being abused all over again." All I can say is that all of my allegations were true, and that's why he chose to enter into the settlement agreement with the board, which ordered him to be supervised and monitored. I'm sticking to my guns. The story the Inquirer ran was accurate. By making these statements now, he's lying, she says. I guess he had to say it to make him look good for his new show, but these facts have been established for a long time. Dr. Phil also told the magazine he took a lie detector test to prove his innocence. I told them to ask me about her and about any other woman patient, and I passed. With 20/20 hindsight, it would have been better if I'd never seen her again, but it had nothing to do with sexual allegations whatsoever. When the magazine asked Dr. Phil who administered the test, he couldn't remember. And the chairman of the board that sat in judgment of Dr. Phil, Dr. Lawrence Abrams, was shocked by McGraw's claim. He told the Inquirer, "We don't require lie detector tests. We never lie detector tested anyone. I don't recall the specific case of Dr. McGraw, but I don't recall any psychologist ever taking a lie detector test." The former patient added, to now say the abuse didn't occur is a desperate act by a desperate man. How do you like them apples, huh? Good old Dr. Phil. All we can say is, wow. By the way, I got my shirt and pants on.
That's good to know.
Well, no, there's a reason for that, though.
Oh, because you're expecting company.
I beg your pardon?
You're expecting company.
I'm expecting the engineers got to be here 1 o'clock. I don't want to be sitting here like, stark
in your
naked.
boxers like you usually are.
Oh, no, not in my boxers, in my walking shorts. I don't sit around here in my underwear, okay? Close to it. And believe me, it's not a pretty sight, and I'm sure you believe me. But at any rate, the engineers come. We're going to get the phones fixed. Oh! We got our poll going about should we take calls on the show. We got over 500 votes. The audience is emotional and aroused about it, man. You can almost smell it. I'm glad you refaxed me this. I will get this in today because I don't have time to give the Britney thing justice. We'll do that tomorrow.
Okay.
Britney cleans up her act. You're going to be disappointed about that. And Kathy Lee takes Frank back to the scene of the crime. And Robert Blake tried to strangle wife during a kinky romp. And he couldn't strangle her, so finally, Martha, they'll never lay a finger on me, says Martha Stewart. Got some good tabloid stuff and the usual stuff. And who knows, maybe we'll take some calls tomorrow. Never know. 1 or 2, maybe. Or, we'll see. Tell Carlos, by the way, to get a little bit of counseling just in case.
He's been through it.
Yeah, he was. Oh, that's right. He did it when you were on the air.
Right. That was his internship.
So he already knows. He knows that.
Oh yeah. And
Chicopee, Maricon. And were those guys all called? Well, that's right. They don't. A lot of those they don't do it off the air.
They were.
Yeah, there were enough. The raspberry guy, called 10 times a day.
Yeah, 10. That's pretty good. Maybe he's had some therapy. Maybe he's had some help. 12:52 at 560 WQM. We got the Mad Dog coming up at 1 o'clock. With your busy lifestyle, you need all the energy you can to feel healthy, to feel like a human being, to have like some kind of a sense of wellness. Here's a product that'll help you be well. That's Oleomed. Oleomed is a sensational new product that contains the best olive oil on the planet, along with vitamins, minerals, and herbals, and they make a separate product to promote different parts of your health. There's one specifically designed to help your heart, one for your blood pressure, your cholesterol, and your prostate, and they all come in an easy-to-take soft gel capsule you just pop in your old puss. Oleomed's also got supplements to promote health in your circulatory system, your digestive, your endocrine system, your skin, your bones, even your mind, and all of them use the benefits of pharmaceutical-grade olive oil and other good stuff, too. Oleomed makes products for men and some specifically designed for women as well. Oleomed's an outstanding new product which you can pick up all over town because more and more people are grabbing it. You can pick it up at Whole Food Markets, Walgreens, Sedano's, Navarro Pharmacies. If you want to get more information, call their toll-free number. They'll give you all the answers for you. 1-866-OLEOMED. That's 1-866-OLEOMED. And you can also order this exciting new product online at oleomedamerica.com.
We're Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Afraid. Be very afraid.
And that's why I think the Jets will have a championship season.
The Jets?
And what did I tell you? You don't talk till I say you can talk.
This is the Beast.
I said, shut up, fatso.
But you're like a father to me.
You don't talk till I'm done talking. When I'm done talking, then you talk.
Okay, I'll...
Hey, Beast, come here.
What?
Come here. I want you to meet a friend of mine, Mr. Golf Club. Why, I oughta... I've got to show you the business end of this thing. Come here.
This court sentences you to 20 years in Oz.
What'd you in for? I tore the tag off my mattress. Looks like we'll be bunkmates. The name's Mohammed David, star of Stage Screen in Paradise. What's yours? They call me Coffee. You got so tan. Thank you. Hey, Get out. So Paul would drill, honey. I'm going to make you my woman. Ain't nobody going to stop him. God! Still, Pinky. All right, shower time. You got 10 minutes.
Well, it ought to be safe in here.
Yo, Bowtie.
Yo, man.
Get load our new Linda Blair over there.
Ain't sure is pretty.
Okay.
Hey, don't embarrass me like that.
You know who I am?
Don't come down, bend over and pick it up now.
All right, but I expect a written apology on my first one.
That broom handle, Bowtie.
Hello, broom hand. I'll take the broom.
The warden will see you now.
Thanks.
Well, Mr. David.
Hello, Warden.
Oh, Jack Warden. How can I help you?
Well, you see, Warden?
Yes?
I keep getting raped.
Oh, isn't that a shame? I'll look into it right away.
Thanks, Warden. It's about time somebody...
Now, drop your pad.
Huh?
I said drop your pad. This is Oz. Favors don't come cheap.
Yo, let's rape Mo. Radio Big Shot.
All right.
That's how we pass the time away in the gay old jail of Oz.
12:58. You know, I backed myself into a corner. I don't have time for this. Huh?
I know.
What are you chuckling about?
Nothing.
You're not still laughing about that, are you? So I guess I'll have to start with that tomorrow. Don't let me forget, because this is very important. In fact, I'm so impressed by this. Whoever faxed it, thank you very much. I might use it every day.
Carlos found it.
Thank you, Carlos. You're the best. 522 votes. We want to give the poll result before we get out of here. Make way for the Mad Dog. We don't want to step on his show, do we?
No.
We don't mess around with other people's time, okay? On this show, when it comes 1 o'clock, we're out of here. We don't make excuses like, well, you know, we had that penetrating interview with Pat Riley again, or some horse crap that we hear like on that morning show. And that was the same case with the Worst team, too, you notice?
Right.
They had trouble reading the clock. Should Neil start taking calls on his show again? We asked. 522 votes. Yes, but only a few, 153. Few calls, like maybe 5 a year. Yes, please, 148, 28.3%. Maybe one day a week, 72 people said that. It makes no difference to me, 70. There's our 13.4%. They'll listen no matter what we're doing. If we, like, play Grandma Moses farting for 4 hours every day, they'll be there. Absolutely not, please, 43. And it's changing again. If he does, I'll blow my brains out. 36, 6.8%.
Bye. The Neil Rogers Show on 560 WQAM, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
We will return to regular programming momentarily on WQAM.com. Until then, here's the best of Sports Radio 560 QAM as Bobby